everybody. Here we are. I know we're a little late. I apologize. We're kind of moving some stuff around. We were doing a few things last minute, but we're doing everything last minute and all of this stuff around so that we can have a better Lights Out Sports podcast for all of you. So here we go, buddy. My name is Mike Valentine. There is my buddy Cheese over there to my right-hand side. He is here with us every single week and loves doing it. We'll get to his football takes here in just a little bit. And then we'll do a ton of college football and some baseball in between. But of course, we can't do a whole lot of it until we do the walk-up music.
Are you ready? 20 seconds start now. Ten seconds remaining. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, guys and gals, of course, however you are viewing us over on our YouTube channel, on X, you can now view us audio only if you would like. We have both Apple Podcasts and we have Spotify. We are just doing all kinds of stuff right here on the Lights Out Sports Podcast, and that's because today we're going to do so much stuff today. MLB, the winter meetings are making things go a little crazy. There's some signings and things that we're probably going to have to talk about a little bit that actually I probably broke since I wrote everything yesterday, so we'll have to do a few things there. I'm an old man today, all right? So I had to take a nap. I started work last night at like 10 o'clock Monday night and worked all the way until like 4 o'clock this afternoon. So if I look like I'm a little tired, because I am, all right?
Old man nap.
Old man nap. I had to take one of those this afternoon. So
yeah,
just getting up and getting everything going from that. So I appreciate everybody being with us here. And I know a lot of you guys have worked hard too. So we're going to give you a ton of college football, a ton of MLB, and then some really interesting stuff in our football segment today as well. So once again, we thank everybody for coming on board with us. We appreciate you. And now it is time for the Lights Out Sports Podcast. Cheese, how you been this week, buddy?
Been good so far. A lot going on. College football playoff, winter meetings, and a crazy NFL weekend. It's just, this show could go 7.5 hours.
Or 8. But I would be asleep halfway through, so let's not do that.
I'm going to get hungry at some point, so yeah.
That's true. That's true. My beautiful wife had stuff ready for me when I got up from my nap, and you know, I didn't want to get up. I looked like a big old bear hibernating in a cave or something. So, yeah. All right, guys. We appreciate you guys being with us as always. And like I said, you can get us here on the Lights Out Sports Podcast. You can do it on X, which is at All Gloves Off SM. You can go to our YouTube channel, which is everything all spelled out, All Gloves Off Sports Media. That's right. Whew. I'm telling you, I'm a little slow today, so we'll get it though. And then Cheese,
doing good,
right? Doing good. And you know what?
Good, buddy.
That's the thing, right? Give us the thumbs up. Hit the
yes.
like, the subscribe, so you never miss a video, like somebody else on this channel says.
Yes,
and
a
lot, yes. And then while we're doing it, buddy, go ahead and plug your stuff. Where can we find you?
So YouTube at Football with Cheese, and Cheese is CHEEZ. So once again, subscribe, hit the bell, all that. And then you can find me on X at Football Cheese. Basically same thing without the with.
All right, fantastic. We appreciate all of that. Now, before we get going too much, we've given you the walk-up music. You know how Cheese's week has gone because he just told you. I know you guys were just chomping at the bit to find out. But before we get into our first topic, which will be college football, then we'll do MLB, then we'll do NFL, we have to do the 5 Flamin' 5 and 5. So let's explain. Cheese gets 5 questions, and he gets a 5-minute timer. and you'll see some flames everywhere, and they'll creep closer and closer to him. Hopefully won't get that hair there on fire or anything like that, but they'll creep closer and closer to him. Oh, yeah. Whew. Can't harm that stuff. I know a certain lady that would be upset with me if we harmed that. So got to make sure we don't do that.
Be careful. Be careful. Yeah.
Be careful. Okay. But if we do, and he gets all 5 questions answered in those 5 minutes, then we'll talk about the 5th one a little more. And Cheese, you've got to come through for me today, because this 5th question has to do with the Dallas Cowboys, the Green Bay Packers, and the trade that they made before the season starts. I got a little something that I can't wait to get your opinion on. So,
what trade was that? I can't think of one.
I can't think of one. No, don't know who that trade would be involved with. No. Okay.
Nope. No idea.
All right. Absolutely fantastic. So, Cheese, are you ready?
Probably.
He's not real sure, but we're going to go with yes anyway. All right. So the timer will begin after I read the first question. I usually do some great big long question for the beginning. It's not. We're just going to do something a little shorter question-wise, but I bet he's going to have a long answer. And we'll get to the comments here in just a second. I see we've already got one, so give me just a minute. We'll do the 5 flaming 5 and 5, and then we'll catch up on everything comment-wise here. Oh, more than one. Look out. Okay. Here we go, buddy. Here is your first question. Do you like the new rules of the NFL overtime?
No. I absolutely hate it. I hate the whole thing about the overtime. I hate they went from 15 minutes to 10 minutes. It's led to more ties. I hate how long it takes because everyone gets a possession. There should never be a tie. College football had this problem, and they fixed it, right? No more ties. I don't know why the NFL doesn't do some kind of college overtime. Real quick, I'm just going to tell you what I would do. Not even the 25. First and goal on the 10, okay? Mm-hmm. You can kick the extra point the first time. Second overtime, you can't. Third overtime, you start going for 2-point conversions. The game won't take nearly as long. You will have less wear and tear because you're just goal to go. I don't know why you don't just do that and decide to win that way. The Packers and Cowboys both should not have a tie. I hate everything about it. And they're like, oh, well, 15 minutes is too long. It could hurt the player. So it's 10 minutes, so that's more ties. It's an absolute disaster.
All right. So let's stick with that game for a second. Of course, that was the Monday night game where it went into overtime. The Eagles lost again. So, Cheese, what have you seen from the Eagles that's changed in their 3 losses in a row?
Many things, actually. And we will talk about them a little in the NFL segment. We'll talk about Jalen Hurts specifically, but yeah, he isn't playing well. The whole offense, the play calling is bad. A.J. Brown seems like he's so good. He's so talented. Sometimes he's just like not in the game and then gets mad when he isn't. Then when he is, sometimes it looks like he's not giving full effort. But Kevin Patullo, the offensive coordinator, is just not very good. And the run defense, the pass defense is outstanding. It is terrific. Their corners are outstanding. But the run defense has been susceptible for sure, giving up big plays the last few weeks.
All right, so 3 minutes left to go here in the 5 flaming 5 and 5. The next question is, are the Houston Texans the most dangerous team in the NFL currently?
No.
Who would
No, they're up there. Their defense, I think, right now is the best in the NFL. So that does make them dangerous. But I still don't love their offense. Their offensive line is just so bad. And they've been able to make up for it recently, and they're winning games with their defense. But eventually they're going to run into a game where they have to score 24, 27 points, and they're not going to be able to do it because the offensive line doesn't run block enough or doesn't give CJ Stroud time. So while they're playing really well, I don't think they're the most dangerous. Oh, man. Right now, I don't think I want to play New England. I know they've had an easy schedule, but they're still just absolutely destroying people. So I would probably say New England or maybe the Rams.
Okay. So, for the first time in a long time, the Kansas City Chiefs are not going to win their division. And because of that, do you think Andy Reid will coach beyond this season?
Wow. See, you make me think.
I know, that's what this thing is for, sir.
I think it's a possibility he does not. I think it's a possibility he retires. Especially if he doesn't think they have a good enough roster to compete the next few years. Go out somewhat on top. I know this year's bad, but he's going to be a Hall of Fame coach. You don't have to worry about that. He's got 3 Super Bowls, terrific winning percentage. So I think there's a chance, I'd say 50-50 chance he actually does not, believe it or not. And we'll talk more about Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in the NFL segment, so stay tuned.
We will. All of these questions, of course, have been about the NFL, and the last one will be as well. I'm gonna be honest here. I'm stalling a little bit because I don't think I'm wanting to have a whole minute right now on this question. I want to talk about this more after everything's all said and done, but I'll go ahead and ask him. Here's the last one. Jerry Jones traded Micah Parsons to the Packers because he tried to, I'm going to use my air quotes here, outshine the star. Jerry doesn't like players that take attention away from his cowboy machine. What do you think about that take? And do you think that could be one of the reasons why Jerry Jones traded Micah Parsons to your Green Bay Packers?
Oh, I think it's a big reason why. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, Micah Parsons has a podcast. Yes, he's going to draw attention to himself. But yeah, I think that's a big part of it. Jerry is stubborn. He's terrible for an office person. It's more about Jerry and the Cowboys than anything else.
Oh, he got it. All right, excellent. Woo! I even made him sweat a little bit there. I was there on purpose. And
I had more to say, but I had to stop.
Well, that's fine. That's fine because we can talk about it now. So I read that in an article. I wish I saved it and could give the guy credit. By the way, we have 8 comments over here. We'll get to them here in just a second. Thank you guys for commenting. You can continue to do so right there in our live chat. We'll get to all of them here in just a second. But I believe that's 100% true, and I never really thought about that until I read that article. Yeah, so the article points out the fact that Dak is a really good football player, but he does football. CeeDee Lamb's a really good football player, but he does football. He doesn't try to do a whole lot outside. He doesn't try to take away from the star or anything like that. He doesn't try to, the quotes that I use were outshine the star. Do you really think that Jerry Jones would be that naive, I guess, to want his machine to be the thing in Dallas, even if it means they don't win as much?
I think it's more arrogant than naive. I think he thinks that they can still win this way. He thinks it does. He thinks he won that trade. I guarantee you he thinks he won that trade. Because then he already used a second-round pick on a pass rusher, Donovan Ezeraku, and then he's upgraded defensive tackles. He said, well, we're stronger at defensive tackle, and we have these future picks. I think he's just really arrogant, and Micah Parsons was becoming like the face of the franchise. He was, and Jerry wasn't. And he could be, and you know what? He's become the face of the franchise of the Packers, and that's fine. Jordan Love could care less. Josh Jacobs could care less. If Micah Parsons is the face of the franchise, the Packers don't have an owner. So there's no issue there. So thank you very much. So, Jerry, it's all about Jerry. And he loves, the reality show. He just loves Cowboys, 365. Jerry Jones and Cowboys. That's all we're talking about. We shouldn't be talking just about Micah Parsons. And anybody that says, oh, they cap situation, they could have fitted him. You can find a way to fit him in the cap. They could have paid him.
Yeah, I mean, football has all these different ways you can do it, right? You can give them a signing bonus that doesn't count against the cap, and there's a whole lot of different ways that you can construct it. I mean, just look at the Eagles roster. The Eagles have a roster that's way over the cap if you just look at salaries and stuff like that. But they do all these intricate things and all of this so that they can continue to have a huge roster with a ton of great players on it. But it doesn't seem to be doing very well for them the moment. But
they can be tough in the future, over the cap in the future. They did a lot of void years. So you can put extra money on future cap years to hurt your future. Mm-hmm. So there's things you can do. So, yeah, the Eagles' salary cap situation is really bad, going to be going forward. But they did win the Super Bowl last year.
Right. So, it's one of those things where I think a lot of these franchises say, hey, no matter what, we got to win a Super Bowl. And if we do, then we're okay with whatever consequences we have to suffer for the next few years, as long as we got one. So I'm not really of that mindset. I would rather my team be in contention every year. Mm-hmm. And not do the whole, I won the Super Bowl and then I'm terrible for 5 years before that and I'm terrible for 5 years after that because I threw everything into that 1 year to win the Super Bowl. So, just a little bit. Here's the other thing, guys. I'm glad that we are popular enough to where we have trolls trying to comment with us live at the same time, because I told you we had several comments and we did. Most of them I'm just not going to put up here on the air. So we had to
Bears fans.
Right. Bears fans. Yeah. Thanks, Cheese.
They hate me. Yes, they hate me, but they never say I'm wrong. They never call me wrong. They just hate me when I tell the truth.
Oh, all right. And then I need to tell you guys this. Instead of doing a top 10 on our lights out list, we're going to do 2 top 5s. And we'll tell you which 2 categories we're going to pick top 5s in here in just a moment on the Lights Out Sports Podcast. But of course, what we're going to do is we're going to have to set everything up, guys, because as you all know, we do all kinds of different stuff here. We do I call them the 3 major sports because I don't hardly watch the NBA. Although I have to admit, the Suns are doing a lot better than I thought they would. So I might end up watching before it's all said and done, but we probably won't talk about it here.
I didn't know they still had a team.
Calm down over there. Calm down. Just because your Rockets dominate everything over there,
I'm actually a Nuggets fan, but I don't really watch a lot of NBA.
All right. Well, I'm sorry about that, sir. I'm really sorry about that.
Sorry, the Nuggets are very good. I don't know.
Are they?
Oh yeah, they won the title 3 years ago. They're one of the favorites this year.
That was 3 years ago, sir. Okay. Well, all right. Let's not get into an argument about the NBA that neither one of us really care too much about.
We don't.
Oh man! But I tell you what, we will do, and there's no argument about this. Let's jump into college football spread offense. Guys, we have got so much stuff to talk about on college football. I came really close to trying to get Cheese to do another just special college football segment with me. But to be honest, it's my fault because I just couldn't squeeze it into everything else I was doing this week. So I was like, okay, we're going to have to kind of lay off this. I mean, last week we gave you guys so much content. You guys responded, 400 on different things, 500 on a couple of different ones. And we appreciate you guys telling us how much you appreciate the context. But we're going to talk about the conference games. We're going to talk about what happened on Selection Sunday. And then we're also going to talk about multiple college teams declining bowl bids. So those are the 3 big subjects that we're going to get into. But we're going to do a lot of little things along the way as well. So those are our 3 big things. Stay tuned with us. We're going to map it all out, and we're going to put it all out there for you, each and every one of you. And then you guys can put your comments up there as well. All right, so let's go ahead and start with our college football spread offense segment. Let's talk about those conference games for a moment, Cheese. Would you agree with this? All of the conference games, except for the Big Ten game, were terrible.
Yes, the ACC game was close, but it was terrible to watch. It was just so awful. So, the Big Ten one was entertaining. It was low scoring. which is more fun if it's like 44-41 or something like that. But yeah, I agree. That one was the only one that wasn't terrible.
All right. So the SEC game and the Big 12 game were both big blowouts.
Yep.
So does that prove that there was an actual dominant team in both the SEC and the Big 12 this year?
Big 12, yes. SEC, maybe. Clearly, at this point, Georgia's better than Alabama. Alabama's offense is a disaster. I would have liked to see Texas A&M, Georgia. Maybe not. I don't know. Georgia, they didn't play A&M. Did they play Oklahoma? I don't know. But I wouldn't say for sure there's one dominant SEC team. I think Georgia's the best one right now. But Big 12, yes. SEC, probably not.
All right. So because the Big 10 was it was the game of all of those games, and it's not even close.
Yep.
So does the result of that game prove that the Big 10 was actually the best conference overall in the college football world this year?
Yes and no. At the top, for sure. 3 of the top 5 teams. But in the middle, not so much. SEC had 7 of the top 14 teams right now in the rankings. So it is in the top 3, maybe because Penn State wasn't good this year. And then in the middle, SEC stronger. And then at the end, it's probably about the same. So yes, at the top, the Big 10 is definitely stronger. I think the SEC just is a little bit deeper.
Okay. So let me tell you about our Lights Out MLB question. We'll get to it in the next segment. So the Contemporary Baseball Eras Committee voted in Jeff Kent, but Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Gary Sheffield, and Fernando Valenzuela all received less than 5 votes, which means none of those guys can be voted on again until 2031. It's a long time. So I ask, would you, our great fans, have voted for any of them? So you can say yes to Bonds and Clemens. You can say yes to Fernando Valenzuela. You can say yes to Gary Sheffield, or you can say no, I wouldn't have voted for any of them. And the results right now are really close. From first to last, it's like 11% from the first place answer to the last place answer. So it should be interesting, and we'll get to it here in just a little bit when we do our MLB 4-pitch talk. So we said, Cheese, that at least at the top, the Big 10 was the best overall conference. Because of how all these conference games turned out, does that also mean that the ACC was the weakest conference in football this year?
Of the Power 4, yes. They weren't the weakest, but of the Power 4, definitely the weakest. Clemson and Florida State being terrible really hurt their conference.
Yeah. So, I think the ACC is one of those teams to where of course, I guess you could say this for any division, I guess, if you really think about it. If Georgia and Alabama are bad for a year, the SEC is going to be down. If Ohio State and Penn State or Ohio State, Michigan, or whatever those, a combination of a couple of those two teams are really bad in the Big 10, they're going to be down too. So, yes, you're 100% right. The ACC had a couple of really underperforming teams this year, and that just kind of drug the entire conference down. Yeah,
and if South Carolina and Auburn had bad years, that's not going to hurt the SEC at all. But like you said, the big ones, the Georgias and the Alabamas, and the Clemsons, the Florida State, that really hurts when you get those big programs.
Absolutely. Fan in the Van, we appreciate you reposting us. I saw it. Thank you guys very much for helping us out. We appreciate it, and we will help you out as well. The last thing that I want to talk about as far as these conference games is this, and this is going to pain me because I have been against you the entire season for this. You said this way back when. I almost can't be against you now, and I even hate to feed into your narrative, but did any of those conference games that were played over the weekend really even matter?
They did, but maybe not to the teams that played in them. Ohio State, Indiana, the losers won, losers 2, winners 1. So Georgia seedings, both Alabama and Georgia made it. It would have been seedings. But it mattered to people like Notre Dame. Virginia losing probably hurt them, getting Miami in, wanting an ACC team in. And, it mattered, if, I don't know, Troy beats James Madison.
Mm-hmm.
If North Texas beats Tulane, I guess those. But no, in SEC and the Big Ten, for example, they all got in the playoff. It's all about winning the playoff. The team that won the national title last year didn't even play in their conference title game. And I think it helped them. There were no more injuries that week. They got a bye. They got to sit back and say, okay, we played awful against Michigan. Let's figure out what we did wrong. Let's fix it because we know we're one of the best teams in the country. Ohio State, and it worked. So it's just conference games just don't mean what they used to. And, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, teams like that, Oregon might be better off not having to play in it.
Yeah, it's kind of sad that we talk about this because I really don't want this stuff to happen, right? I don't want these teams to start looking at games going, I don't think that benefits us, so we're not going to play. Because the people who lose are us. The fans of college football lose. If they don't want to play, if they don't want to participate, if they don't want their, all their players to play and participate. We're going to talk about a couple of those things here. One of them is not in the notes. Something just came up that I don't know how many of you have really looked at. But I've got a problem with some of this stuff, and I'm going to try to be. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to try to be as professional as possible. I've already got Cowboy Reggie, who we thank him and his son from the Sons of Star podcast. They were on our show, the watch along that we did this past Thursday night. Now I know you guys all know who won the game, but if you want some other insights and some other football stuff, then by all means, click on that, watch it for a little bit if you got some time. Both of them came on with us at halftime, and they stayed with us through the third quarter. Some really interesting insights on all of that from all the people involved, myself, Cheese, Cowboy Reggie, who is a really big Notre Dame guy. We'll get into that here in a moment, and his son Dallas as well. So before we get into all of that, though, I've got a ton of Selection Sunday things to talk about. And like I said, I love the college game. I love Major League Baseball, and kind of NFL is my third thing. But right at the moment, man, there's some things in college football that I'm pretty upset about, and I'm sure we'll touch on them as everything goes for the rest of this segment here. Why, first of all, Cheese, why even compete with the NFL? And why rush things? Why did you have your show like first thing on Sunday? Because to be honest with you, so let me tell you a little bit about how I did everything. So I worked a double shift on Saturday. I didn't get home till almost midnight. I turned on the game. I watch Ohio State, Indiana with bated breath on the edge of my couch the entire time. And by the way, somebody here was right. It was a pretty low scoring game, even though the other one of us didn't want it to be. But it was still a really good game. And then as that game is closing out, I can hear the broadcasters saying, oh, well, the ACC game is in overtime. So I'm like, well, shoot, I taped all the games. So then I get done with Indiana, Ohio State, and then I turn around and watch like the last like 10 minutes of the game. And then I watch the overtime period until the winner was crowned. So by the time I got to bed, it was late. And then I get up to messages from you talking about the Selection Sunday and how they've already picked everything and I'm just like, really? They already did it? It's over? I missed everything? I don't understand why they would compete with the NFL on Sunday, and I really don't understand why they felt like they had to rush everything. The longer you wait, the more people like you and I are going to talk about it. Can you help me understand this? Why would we do that?
Well, it started an hour before the NFL games started, so it wasn't actually against the NFL. It was right before.
Still, it's on Sunday. The NFL owns Sunday, and we both know they do.
Yeah, I think, these schools want to know where they're playing, what bowl they're in, and all that. They want to go ahead and know. I know it's an extra day. You want to wait. You could wait and do a special on Monday. I get it. Yes. But I think, and people would talk about it more and give the coaches more time to plead their case. But I think they just want to go ahead and get it done. And they released the AP and coaches poll on Sunday as well. So it's kind of like we're going to do the same thing. And they know after the ACC championship game and the Big Ten, they know at that point who they're going to select. The committee pretty much has the scenarios. I'm sure they map them out the day before. So I get it. I watched the show, and then as soon as it ended, I flipped to NFL.
Well, I literally didn't get a chance to talk about it because by the time I went to bed, we'll just say it was really, really late, right? and then I slept in. I always set the alarm to go off. For me out here in Arizona, I do it like right at 11 o'clock. So I get up, and I know this is probably going to sound sacrilegious to you, but I don't like to watch the games live. I can't stand commercials. So I would much rather be about a half hour behind, and then I fast forward through the commercials. And now, because I've been with you for so long, we talked about this in the last couple of weeks. You've got me like rewinding a little bit and watching stuff and doing all these other things to almost assure that I'm going to be about 10 or 15 minutes behind every live game that I watch. So, yeah, I watch football different because of you. Thanks, buddy. So
You're welcome.
Yeah.
The key is have two TVs. That way, one's a commercial, you can watch the other.
All right, maybe, but I can have that. I have a certain TV provider that we can't plug because they don't pay us to. That where I can divide my screen in fours, so I can actually watch 4 games at once. But sometimes I just can't do that. I catch myself watching one and looking and being like, oh snot, they scored over here, and so. I'm going to stick with my one TV thing, at least for a little while, I think, until I get it completely down, and then we'll go from there. But I just don't understand. To me, what difference does a day make? You go ahead and you release the college football polls, and then you give people like you and I and our friends, and when we're all shooting back and forth on X, and we're all talking smack on Facebook about how our team's going to get in and how we think this is going to happen and how we think that's going to happen. And in my opinion, they didn't give us a chance to do any of that. They got you up to the ultimate hype, and then it didn't take them but less than a day to just answer all the questions. Why? Why would you do that? To
This
me,
is what they do. This is why they do it. It's just the way they do it. I know,
but it's stupid.
Okay.
You have a show. See, I'm already going a little tangency here, and we're only on question 1.
You're a little grumpy.
More to go.
You're a little grumpy.
Have a show like an hour before the Monday night game, and let us talk about the Monday night football game and what all the college results have been and everything else. I mean, I hear what you say. The schools want to know, but what, they've got 2-3 weeks before the first bowl game even starts, and come on, man, those aren't real bowl games anyway. So
No, trust
I
me,
don't really
no.
think it makes that much difference.
Well, it's just the way they do it. I don't think it's going to change.
Well, I want it to, daggone it. They should listen to me on the Lights Out Sports podcast right here with my buddy Cheese. So let's move on to the second question before I get too crazy in just question 1. Let me ask you this, Cheese. Did the committee get seeds 1 through 4 correct?
Yes, they did.
Could you have made a case for Georgia being number 2 and Ohio State actually dropping to 3?
I guess you could because they won the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
Both had 1 loss, but Ohio State's loss was a neutral site to the number 1 team in the playoff. Georgia's they lost at home to the number 9 team in the playoffs. So it's hard for me to move Georgia up to 2. So I think they got the top 4 correct.
Okay. But at the same point, do you think the SEC was more challenging than the Big Ten? So if you look at the overall picture, that you could have moved Georgia up to 2 and Ohio State down to 3?
It was deeper. There probably wasn't a team as good as Indiana or Ohio State,
Mm-hmm.
I think Texas Ohio State was the only game where like a Big Ten and SEC team, they were both like top 20 played, and
Right.
Big Ten won. So no, I think they got it right. That's
Okay.
Big Ten and SEC. I mean, flip a coin. Which one's better right now? Like I said, better at the top Big Ten, a little bit deeper SEC.
Okay. To be honest, I think the number 3 team has a little easier path into the college football playoff. I was almost hoping, and I wouldn't have taken it as an insult if they'd have put Ohio State at number 3.
Okay.
Just
I don't
because
know.
I'm the Ohio State guy. I don't know. I look at their road to the college football playoff game, and I think the number 3 seed has a little bit easier time than does the number 2 seed.
Okay. Possibly. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that because I don't think Miami should have been in, and Texas A&M's really not playing well. So I think I disagree with that. I'm gonna say the 2 is easier than 3. So we disagree.
All right, interesting. So you guys comment on us. What do you guys think? Do you think 2 is easier than 3? Look at the layout. I'm sure most of you guys have looked at it several times. We'll wait for the comments right here. We got lots of people with us live, and we'll just hang back and see. We're going to be doing a lot of college football talk, so you guys have plenty of time. All right. How about seeds 5 through 8? Do you feel seeds 5 through 8 did well enough this season to deserve to host a first round game? And that's the big thing with 5 through 8, right? Is hosting that first round game.
Mm-hmm. And they all won last year.
Mm-hmm. They did.
They all won their home games. Mm-hmm.
Right. So Oregon, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, and Oklahoma. You like 5 through 8, Cheese?
Yeah, I mean, I like Oregon, Ole Miss, Texas A&M for sure. 11-1, absolutely deserve it. Yeah, Oklahoma. They went 10-2. I think they are the most deserving 10-2 team because they played a really hard schedule, and they went at Tennessee, at Alabama. Did lose a neutral to Texas. Their only other loss was to, I cannot think right now. But anyway, Oklahoma, I would have put them 8 based on this field. I probably would have put BYU with 11-1. If I was doing it, put them 8 and give them home game over Oklahoma. But in this field, yes, I would put that in that exact order.
Yeah, we'll get to BYU certainly because we'll get to them. So I gotta keep myself. Breathe, Valentine. Breathe. Okay. Do you still stand by your previous statement that you made in other shows that Notre Dame should be seated no higher than 9th until they agree to join a conference?
I do. Right now, they can be no higher than 5th. They can't get a first round bye because they're not in a conference. But the 5th seed, is pretty. It's a pretty good seed. Yeah. So 9th would definitely, like Tennessee was 9th last year, and it was a disaster. Yeah, it was. It's tough because you're playing a team, another good team on the road, and then if you win, you play the number 1 seed. So I think the only problem with it is if Notre Dame next year is 12-0, and you're an 8 seed and you have to play the number 1 team in the country. They might be ranked number 1, and even though it's at home, they should be ranked higher based on their record. But yeah, I think I would do that. I think Notre Dame needs to be punished more for not being in a conference. And if you've watched my videos, I thought Notre Dame should have been in the playoff. I'm not anti Notre Dame or anything like that. I just think if they were in a conference, they'd be in. Let's say that much. Because if they were in the ACC, they would have won the ACC. They would have beaten Virginia because just about anybody would have beaten Virginia.
100%. That's a great point. I know it's not in the notes, but I have it written on the stuff that I have over here on the side. If they would have been in the ACC this year, what you just said is 100% correct. And there'd have been no doubt they'd have been in the college football playoff picture. They would have been in the ACC. They would have went to the title game. They would have beat the living tar out of Virginia.
Yes.
And here we go. We're in.
And it would give them a second ranked victory over a ranked team, and probably would have put them as the 8 seed because they won the conference. I think they would have been the 8 seed, Oklahoma the 9, and Miami would have been out.
Yeah, for all of these people who are screaming about Notre Dame right now, and trust me, I've gotten arguments over the last few days with a lot of them. And kind of like Bears fans to you, Notre Dame fans are not real happy with me right at the moment.
They like me.
Yeah, you suck up. When it's all said and done, I believe Notre Dame did this to themselves. Join a conference. Stop trying to be greedy, because that's probably I'm just going to assume that's the main reason they don't want to join a conference is because they don't want to share the money with everybody else. Yeah, they want to keep it all to themselves. Well, fine. You can't have your cake and eat it too, right? So there you go. You got all the money, but you did not get into the college football playoff.
But they have no problem with every other sport besides the moneymaker football.
Yeah,
being in a conference. Oh yeah, we need you. See, ACC is part to blame here. You should not let someone in as a part-time. Because Notre Dame is in the ACC for every sport, all of them, men's, women's, whatever, except for football. And ACC should not do that. They should said, no, you're joining for football as well. And they played ACC schedule 4 games every year. Big whoop. You're not in the conference. And yeah, if they were in a conference, they'd be in this college football playoff. I hope they decide to join one because it would fix a lot of problems.
And, I want to stand by. I know you said it first, man. I agree with you 120% if there's if I can do that. Until they join a conference, I believe they should be ranked no higher than 9th. They shouldn't get a bye, and they shouldn't get to host a game. They should have to go somewhere and play, and that's their punishment for not being in a conference.
Yeah, if they were the 9th seed last year, they would have had to play Ohio State at Ohio State. We know they didn't beat them in a neutral site. They would have lost by even more, and they would have been, boom, one and done.
Yes.
And, yeah. Yep.
And, when you cry, oh, we're Notre Dame, we deserve to be. No, what you deserve to do is join a conference like everybody else does. You're not special. I don't know. I'm trying to breathe. I'm trying to stay with everything here. But it's hard for me to do right at the moment because this, again, they did it to themselves, but they don't want to talk about this. In fact, the AD wants to get upset at the ACC conference because they said, "Oh, well, you compared us against Miami, and because you did that, that's what the committee did, and then we ended up losing because of that." He said that their relationship with the conference has fractured ties.
Oh, well, in his defense, ACC Football X account promoted the crap out of Miami. They said Miami should be over Notre Dame, and the ACC network over a dozen times in 2 days played the Notre Dame Miami game. Over a dozen times on Thursday and Friday leading up to that. So they promoted Miami. They tried to. So I get why he's upset. But the solution is join the ACC full time. They won't do it.
Yes. I wonder if there wasn't a little bit of collusion there.
Well, we'll talk more about that. A question later on. I want to get to it now.
Yes, we will. We'll just plant that little seed in some people's brains here as we continue to go forward. How about this? Do you still stand by your previous statement that there needs to be at least one non-power conference team in the top 12 in the college football playoff?
That's actually not exactly what I said. What I said is I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with them putting one in. I do have a problem with putting 2 in, just because they need 5 conference champions. Like Paul Feinbaum, he's terrible. ESPN guy. He's absolutely terrible. But he just went off. It was hilarious today, saying that no one wants to watch James Madison. No one wants to watch Tulane. They're going to lose by 25 points in both games.
He's right.
Probably. Yeah, he's right. I don't want to watch Oregon play James Madison. I don't. I'm going to. I don't want to watch Tulane, who lost by 35 to Ole Miss, going to probably lose. I think they might be able to keep it closer, but same place. They already played at Ole Miss. Yeah, I don't want to watch that. I would much rather watch Notre Dame go to Ole Miss. God, that'd be awesome. I'd much rather watch Utah or BYU go to Oregon, or Vandy, someone like that. Much. So, no, I don't have a problem with it, just to give someone not in the Power Four a chance. And last year it worked out. Everything worked out. There were all the 3 lost teams didn't make it. Two lost teams in the big conferences got in, and Boise State was 11-1. So they were getting in no matter what. So everything worked out last year. This year, nothing worked out. Much harder for the committee. And we're seeing what the problems are with the 12-team format.
Do you believe that each power conference, in other words, the Big 10, the Big 12, the SEC, and the ACC, should have at least one representative in this top 12 college football playoff?
No, not necessarily. I want the 12 best teams. I guess if you I don't know, that's tricky. Like the ACC, I don't think the ACC deserved a team this year, because Notre Dame's not an ACC team. I don't think they did. So, no, I would say no. And here's another thing. What if, I gotta say this, what if Troy beats James Madison? So that means either Troy or Duke is the 12th seed.
Yeah.
Because you have to have 5 division winners. One of them has to be in. Does Duke get in the college football playoff with 5 losses? Does Troy get in with 4 losses? It would have been a disaster. A disaster. I was hoping Troy would win.
But again, that was one of those things that I was thinking about when I went to bed after watching those games, and then I get up the next morning and everything's already decided for me. I don't have a chance to talk about all of this stuff. We're talking about it now, but it's almost hypothetical because everything's already done.
Yeah. Well, and Paul Feinbaum, actually, I can't believe I'm saying this because I can't stand him. He's terrible for the most part. But he made a good point. This isn't basketball where 68 teams make it, and the teams that get left out, you have like 11 or 12 losses. So, you can't really complain. We're going to let these smaller schools, when you have 12, to let in 2 of the 12 that are clearly not better than Notre Dame. If they played Notre Dame, the spread would be 21 to 30 points against James Madison. At least. So yeah.
Yeah, you're getting ahead of me a little bit, but that's fine. I understand now. Now, see, you're starting to get into this conversation too here. I'm liking this. So, should the college football playoff, and I wasn't sure how to word this. You might be able to help me out a little bit because I rewrote this question like 4 or 5 times. Should the college football playoff be a representation from across the college football landscape, or should it be the best 12 teams in college football?
I mean, it should be the best 12 teams. And like I said, I didn't mind one team non-power 4 because then most years
12.
It isn't. But I have a huge problem with 2. Huge problem. You're right. It's not the best 12. It should be the best 12. But I also don't think there should be conferences. This is a topic for another day that have 16, 17, 18 teams.
Yeah.
I think we need to have no more than 12 teams in a conference. We have more. That's the way it used to be. I remember when I was a kid, ACC had 9. When they got Florida State, they had 9, and everyone played each other every year too. Now you get like Vandy didn't play Georgia, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, or Texas A&M. And that's why if you take away like Arkansas from their schedule and put in A&M and they win, then they're probably in the playoff, So you're not playing. Some years you're going to play Florida's schedule, which was brutal. And then some years you're going to get Vandy's schedule when you play one of the top 5 teams in the SEC.
I 100% agree with you. And we're going to circle these wagons. And at the end, we're really going to kind of, put the top layer. We're going to put the whipped cream on the pumpkin pie here at the end. So personally, I want the best 12 teams. That being said, Cheese, if you simply eliminate Tulane and James Madison and replace them with BYU and Notre Dame, would you still have a problem saying that these are the best 12 teams? This is interesting. I can't wait to hear this.
I think you need to talk about Vandy for sure, possibly. I just would have left Miami out. I think the ACC was weak. I lost at home to 8-4 team. They lost to 2 unranked teams, lost on the road to another 8-4 team. I think Vandy had a better resume. So I still wouldn't have had Miami in. And I would either swap them. The problem with Utah is, if Utah, they're 11-1 for sure.
Right.
But 10-2, they just didn't beat anyone. I think Cincinnati was probably their best win. Well, maybe did they beat Arizona State? They beat
Arizona State too.
Yeah.
Yep.
But they didn't come close to beating either BYU or Texas Tech. I think that's what kind of hurts them. But I still would have had Miami out and maybe put in Vandy.
So I guess that's kind of my point here. As much as I want to yell and scream about these 12 teams that we got, even if you take the 2 weakest teams out and you replace them with what I would think are 2 deserving teams in both BYU and Notre Dame, I would probably still have a problem with those 12 teams being able to say for certain that those are the 12 best teams, which is what I'm trying to get to is, if I'm on the committee, I'm like, okay, we need the best 12. And then we just simply rank them 1 through 12 based on the season that they had. But we got to pick the best 12 first.
What do you think the spread would be if Vandy played Miami, say, in like a neutral site? What do you think? I'm thinking Vandy by 6 to 8 points.
Probably so.
Which means they're a better team.
Yeah, it does.
And Miami, one thing that annoyed me about Miami is they threw deep with less than a minute to go, up 31-7 against Pitt to make the score look better, to make them look better. I'm the committee. I'm not happy about that. I want them kneeling down. That would have made me not want to put them in.
So I didn't put this in the notes, but you're bringing up a really great point with Vandy here. Don't you think the ACC, or excuse me, don't you think Vandy should be really upset at the ACC for promoting Miami more than Notre Dame seems to be upset with the ACC for promoting Miami?
Possibly. I don't think Vandy was ever going to get in because they, like I said, they played the softest SEC schedule. I just don't think they ever were going to get in. I know anyone that was saying they should, and some people were saying Miami. So possibly, but I just don't, even though I think Vandy should get in over Miami, I don't think most people agreed.
Okay. So a guy named Eric Bischoff, who was in WWE and WCW and stuff like that, you know, for you either know him or you don't know him, he has a book called Controversy Creates Cash. It's 100% right. What we're doing right now is talking about college football, and we'll be talking about all this stuff with college football probably way past that first bowl game. So I think this is simply a ploy to ensure that the college football playoff gets expanded to 16 teams next year and will increase to more soon. So I'm going to call it right here, right now. I believe that this committee and ESPN and everybody else will see money just like they are with this, and they're going to be like, okay, next year we're going to go 16 teams and see what happens. Do you think there's a chance they go 16 teams next year, or do you think there's a bigger chance that they still do 12 for another couple years and then they double it to like 24?
I think they stick with 12 for a few more years. I think they skip 16. I think they go right to 24, just like they skipped 8, because they want to give, if they go 8, then the difference between 1 and 8, maybe there's a home game in there. Maybe it's not neutral, but still, it might be a 2-loss team versus undefeated team. And if you go 16, you're going to get a 1 versus 16. You're going to get like an undefeated Indiana team versus maybe a 3-loss USC team. Say USC is a 16 team, right?
Right.
Is that really fair that they didn't get any incentive? So I think when they do move up, I think they'll go straight to 24. And when they do, the good thing about 24 is you can say, okay, maybe James Madison, Tulane deserve to be in it. Let's make sure every conference gets someone. So makes that's the one fix about 24. The problem with 24 is, guess what? 25, 26, 27, 28 are going to complain.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, we should be in, an 8-4 team in the SEC and Big Ten are going to complain. Tennessee and Missouri are going to want to get in if they get left out. They're both been 8-4 teams. So that's the problem. It's like you're never going to make everyone happy, and you absolutely cannot go more than 24. And by the way, if they go 24, bowl games are done. Absolutely done.
Right. And I didn't really put this in here. I think we should talk more about this in probably next week if we would go with, bowl games and all of this kind of stuff. So I don't want to jump into this too much, but I agree with you. Well, I'm not going to say I agree with you, but I think there's a way to satisfy both. And we'll talk more about that next week when we look at different scenarios that this committee could actually come up with to fix the current problem without creating more problems. We'll talk about that next week. But even with all of the above questions, we have answered all kinds of questions here, and we've discussed everything, and we didn't necessarily agree on all of our points, but I still, and even if you put BYU and Notre Dame in there, I still have a huge problem with these 12 teams, and I have a big problem with them because Alabama is one of those 12 teams. They shouldn't be in the top 12, but they are there because they make money for ESPN. And let's just put this out there right now. This is me. This is not necessarily Cheese, although I'll listen to your comments afterward. I've said it multiple times. I think ESPN is ruining sports.
It is ruining sports. I mean, the counter argument for that is, well, Notre Dame brings ratings too. Like Alabama brings ratings, no doubt about it. And Notre Dame does too. But here's the point about ESPN. They own ACC Network. They own SEC Network. Every single ACC game and SEC game are on ESPN or ABC. Every one. So it helps them. It helps ESPN to have as many SEC and ACC teams in the playoff. Notre Dame has a contract with NBC. The Big 12 and Big 10, some of their games are on Fox. The big game on Big 10 is on Fox, and their CBS does too. So it helps ESPN to get Miami in. It helps ESPN to get Alabama in, and not BYU or Notre Dame, because we have the rights to all their games. So, yeah, ESPN is running sports, and they have and the selection committee shows on ESPN, the college football playoffs all on ESPN. So, ESPN pretty much controls college football for the most part. And and SEC used to be on CBS, the big game, and ESPN took that away.
And what, 90% of all the bowl games you're going to see are going to be on ESPN,
if not more.
Yeah. So when one entity owns too much of one thing, it would be like the only way you can see the NFL is you must buy the NFL Sunday ticket. Period. We don't do any games on Fox. We don't do CBS. The only way you can see it is if you have to buy this package. Now, I also get it, because a lot of, and we're going to talk about that when we get into I know I didn't put it in the notes, and you haven't seen this part, but at the very end of our MLB 4-pitch talk, I want to talk about the new agreement, the new MLB rights deal, and how it's different. But ESPN as a conglomerate owns way too much of the sport that I love, or one of the sports that I love. And I really think they basically put their finger in the pot, right? And they stir it. They're like, nope, we don't want that. Nope, backwards. No, we don't want to stir that right now. Let's hang on. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that college football seems to be okay with giving ESPN all of that control. And I think the people who suffer are you and I because of it.
Absolutely. And to see, if you are a college football fan, you have to have ESPN. There's so many games on there. And, ESPN, a lot of people don't have cable anymore. A lot of people stream. So they had a lot of layoffs. They started losing money, and they're trying to take over NBA. They're trying to become a monopoly on sports, to take it over, to get that money back. And it's Disney. It's not just ESPN. It's Disney is who owns ABC and ESPN. So it's really Disney doing all of this.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for somebody to step in. I'm a little surprised nobody has, as of this point, a congressperson or Senate or somebody has to be able to. If we can see it, they can see it, right?
Yeah, Congress only cares about foreign countries. They don't care about us. That's all they care about. So.
Okay, I don't want to get us off into too much of a tangent here, but I really believe that ESPN is ruining sports. If you guys believe it with me, say it with me, right? And give us a comment up there on our live chat as we keep on going. Let's talk about the multiple colleges that are declining bowl games. This will be the last thing that we do here in our college football spread offense. So let me ask you this, Cheese. This is a very big reason that the college football calendar is just so far out of whack. And I don't want to get into this today. We probably will in the next 2 to 3 weeks. But coaches should not be leaving until after the bowl season is done, nor should players be announcing that they're entering the transfer portal until after the bowl season is done. Do you agree with both those statements?
I disagree with both.
This should be interesting.
So coaches should be able to leave when they want. You can't tell a coach, you have to wait till your team's bowl. What if your bowl game is January 4th, the other team's bowl is December 20th? You can't do that. You can't tell a coach when you can and can't leave a school, because then you might not get the job you want. Because if another school might be like, well, we can hire someone else, like a coordinator, because we don't want to wait for you. We need to get recruiting. So I don't like telling a coach when and when they can't leave. And the transfer portal, you're literally starting at a new school. You have to pick classes and everything. You have to do that as soon as possible, because you if you wait till after the bowls, the semester is about to start. So you should be able to transfer, at this point. But one other thing I would do is you can only transfer for the spring semester, and you can't transfer at the end of the spring and play that year. You have to sit out the years if you transfer it in the spring. So only one transfer portal after this season. Like once January classes start, you cannot transfer, or you sit out that year. That's what I would do. They need to change that. To go through spring practice and then transfer to a rivalry or a team they're playing the next year is a huge advantage. They've got to put a stop to that.
Yeah, we'll talk about Sam Levitt around here. Big thing over the last 24 hours or so. He's decided he's entering the transfer portal.
Oh, I knew that. He didn't say where he's going yet.
No, he hasn't said where he's going yet, but he did some things from point A to point B that people were pretty upset with him about. I'll let a couple of the cats out of the bag. He didn't go to the banquet.
I'll say this, a team that might be calling is Indiana.
Yeah?
They're about to lose their quarterback.
Yeah, they are. So he's basically so his agent, which is his brother, I believe, is telling people, hey, you can't blame us for wanting more money. He made $3 million at Arizona State, and now he's getting offers they're claiming of $6, $8, and $10 million. And his agent basically came out today and said, well, if you were getting, if you worked at your job and another job of a similar structure and stuff came to you and said, we'll pay you twice as much or 3 times as much, come with us. You wouldn't look at them and be like, oh, well, now wait a minute, I want to be loyal to my team, so I'll turn down all that money. So we'll talk about loyalty and
how much is enough
transfer portals and all of that here soon, probably next week or the week after.
How much is enough? And
yeah,
I know he's losing his best receiver. Jordan Tyson is going pro, and I wonder another team that could be interested is he'd be a great fit in the Tennessee offense. He really would be, and they could use an up. Joey Aguilar, I think he's fine. He's nothing great. I think they could use an upgrade there. So those are 2 teams to watch. I have no inside information. I just think that he'd be good fits in both those offenses.
And let me go back to
it's such a shame.
It is a shame. I'm gonna say something like, is NIL and the transfer portal and stuff, are we taking steps that are going to negatively affect college football? I think we are. I don't want to give too much of this away because I just couldn't get to everything and put it all in this segment today. We
could have done 3 shows. We could have done 3 hour-and-a-half shows this week on college football and not gotten to everything.
We could have. And still not get to everything, 100%. But I want to go back to the coaching thing, and I want to go back to the transfer portal thing. I think you misunderstood me a little bit. I wouldn't let any coach leave any team until the bowl season was done. I understand what you're saying about, if you let this team leave now and that team can't do it until later, and you may miss out on those jobs. I completely understand that. So you're not allowed to hire a coach until after, January 15th or something like that. So no team can hire a coach until after that point. You make everything even, and you don't have all this scramble, because that's what some of these teams are using as an excuse. Hey, we just lost our coach, and you want us to go to a college football game, a guy that doesn't even know any of these players, and all of a sudden coach us, and what if we get jack stomped and we look stupid? And no, so I don't want to go to a bowl game now.
But the problem is the signing. Well, problem with the signing day then you sign with a team and then the coach leaves after the bowl, and you want to play for the coach if you already signed. Can't do that. I think you should be able to fire a coach whenever you want. I think you should be able to hire a coach whenever you want. I really do. I know it sucks. It sucks for these teams lose their coach in the playoff. It sucks for Ole Miss, but you have to give. There's no perfect way to do it, but you don't want a situation where people drop out of school, enter the transfer portal right after signing a letter of intent, and you lose half your recruiting class because you had to wait to change coaches. And I just think that.
Okay, I see.
I think you should be able to fire and hire a coach whenever you want.
Okay, we don't always have to agree. We're not going to get upset with each other, and it's not like we're going to throw things at each other's screen or anything, just because we don't, we don't always have to get along. So it's fine.
It embeds in Mike Valentine's large forehead.
No. No, don't be mad at me, sir. Um, should teams who are changing coaches be able to use that as an excuse to decline a bowl bid?
Yes. You should be able to decline a bowl bid if you want. If you do not want to play a bowl game, there are advantages and disadvantages. Obviously, you get more practice. You get another game together. You can evaluate your younger players. There's a big advantage for a lot of teams going to a bowl game, but you should be able to decline a bowl game no matter what. It's up to the school. And if the players vote, you can even take a vote and majority of them say, I don't want to play in a bowl game, then don't do it.
Wow. That's not what I thought you were going to say, especially the guy that does all the looking and the drafting. So do you put more stock in a bowl game performance or in a conference game performance than you would in anything else? Like if you're evaluating a guy and he's not done excellent up until this point, but yet he shines under the bright lights, how do you evaluate that, and where do you put that in the rankings as far as where you put people in your college football draft analyst equation?
Okay, so real quick, you said you were surprised my answer.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. If Notre Dame accepts a bowl bid, like the Chick-fil-A Bowl, I think it's called now, or the Citrus Bowl, Jeremiah Love's not playing in that game. He's not. He's going to opt out because it means nothing. And he's going to get ready for the draft because he could get hurt. So pretty much anyone, the running backs get drafted third or fourth round opt out of the game. Not all of them, but some of them do. So a lot of the pro prospects that I watch aren't even going to play in the bowl game anyway. Used to be always did. And now it's actually smart. I'm a college coach, and he wants to opt out, and it's not a college playoff game. I understand, because you get hurt, that could cost you rounds and a lot of money.
And millions.
Mm-hmm. So anyone saying, oh man, Notre Dame, we don't get to see Jeremiah Love play again. You're not going to anyway. There's no way he would play in a meaningless bowl game. So I have no problem with it. I watched maybe half the bowl games, probably a few less than half last year.
Okay.
And because some of the games I would have if some guys hadn't opted out. I'm watching mainly for prospects to see them one more time. And you can't watch every game. So some of these prospects I've seen like once or twice. But a lot of them just, like I said, it's an exhibition game. It means nothing. You could only hurt your stock by getting hurt. That's kind of how I do it. And if somebody just great in a bowl game, that's fine. I'd much rather watch them versus a rivalry in a conference title game, something like that. I'd put way more stock into that. And just one quick example, Cam Ward decided to play in the bowl game against Iowa State last year.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome. Breaks an NCAA record and then quits from his team at halftime, and they lost in the second half because of it. Pathetic.
Have you ever watched a game to watch a pro prospect, and then as you're watching that guy, you see somebody else that catches your eye, and then you go back and watch other games that that person is a part of, and add them to your rankings?
Oh, all the time.
So then there is a reason to watch these games, even if the Jeremiah Loves don't play.
I wouldn't necessarily say bowl games, but other games I'm watching, like I'll go back and I'll watch running backs, and I'm like, who is this offensive lineman creating these holes for him? And you go back and look, you watch the offensive line, you're like, wow, this guy's going to be a good guard in the NFL. This guy is a mauler. So, or sometimes you're watching a quarterback, you're like, who is this tight end? And it's always open, So not necessarily in bowl games, but it does happen. And and some guys, I'll move them up my draft board because of it.
Okay. So what if we make a rule? And I had this discussion with a lot of my coworkers today and got some mixed results. I want to hear your take on it, even though I think I already know what it's going to be based on what we just talked about. What if the rule is made, if you decline a bowl bid, that you will be automatically ineligible for the college football playoff the following season?
Never happen. Teams will go crazy. Never happen. And you know what might happen if say a team doesn't want to go to a bowl game, they're disappointed in their season, like Notre Dame, they vote not to go. None of their big players, their starters next year, are going to play in the game. They're going to play all the freshmen, all the red shirts. or the walk-ons. That's who's going to play in the game. They're going to get blown out by whoever they play. They're only in the game to just, make sure they're in the playoff next year. You can't tell a team you're not eligible if you don't play in a bowl game. You can't tell teams that.
Sure, you can.
No, that's absolutely. Then you're forcing teams that don't want to be in a bowl game go to a bowl game.
Okay.
Just to have
I get forced to do stuff at work I don't want to do all the time.
Yeah, you can't do that.
My job.
Football. Yeah, you cannot tell these players you have to play in a bowl game or you're out. I don't like more regulations. I like fewer regulations.
But don't you? I mean, really, when you get up in the morning and you start your job, there's a few things that you have to do it this way, right? You can't deviate from it. There are rules and regulations that you follow on your job every day. And I just don't like the fact that we're teaching these kids that, if you don't want to, it's okay. Don't worry about it. We'll support you. You don't need to work. You don't need to keep going. You can just give up and everything's fine. I also think, and Notre Dame fans, go ahead, throw it at me, hit me up, because I think that's what Notre Dame is telling their players right now. You know what? If we don't we're just going to pout and we're just going to not play. And I just don't like it. Not at all do I like it.
Well, in my job, I never get hit. I never get tackled and slammed to the ground. I never take punishment. I'm not going to tear my ACL, tear my Achilles, break my leg. So
okay.
You're forcing them to play a very dangerous game. And as far as Notre Dame goes, I would have done the exact same thing if I was a Notre Dame player. I don't want to play in the game. They'll go through the motions. They have nothing to play for. It's an exhibition game. Their goal was to win the national title. They thought they deserved to be in. So that, like Florida State a couple years ago, went undefeated, didn't get in the top 4. In that bowl game, they got absolutely destroyed. They didn't show up. Nobody cared. They didn't want to be in that bowl game at all. And that's the kind of performance you get from Notre Dame if they were in, the Chick-fil-A Bowl or the Gator Bowl or whatever. So I have no problem with them doing that whatsoever. You don't have to play in a bowl game if you don't want to.
And then the next day on the Lights Out Sports podcast, I'm going to come on here and complain about it. And
yeah. That's fine. And they'll have no injuries in that game. They'll have none of their starters for next year are going to tear anything or break anything that could hurt their spring practice at all. So there you go.
Okay. So with all the fighting and controversy that we've got right now in college football, are we forgetting about what's really important, which is the players? And what I mean by this is Notre Dame said no, they don't want to play. So I put it down on our X account. I really tried to do some research as the football was going on that day. I was looking at a bunch of different websites that I trust and actually messaged some people who I trust in the industry. I'm not trying to say that I'm some big insider or nothing like that. Please don't take it that way, because I'm not. But I do have a few friends in some of these things that are going on. And I think we're forgetting about the players. How many of those players, Cheese, are never going to be able to play in a bowl game because they're not good enough to get to the NFL? This is it. This is it for them. They're the third string lineman. They're the second string tight end. They're never going to play again past college. Why are we robbing them of that opportunity by allowing those teams to not play in those bowl games and not play in any game, to be honest?
Well, that's another factor. But if the players voted not to be in it, that there's not much you can do. You still played for Notre Dame. You still, played your whole career. I think one exhibition game, I don't think it's going to define it. It is a shame. I think the main reason to play a bowl game, like I said, is to get more practices in, evaluate your talent for next year, play some more of the guys that didn't get as many snaps, see what you got next year, especially if someone like opts out. Say you're starting top 2 receivers opt out because they're going pro. Well, you can play those young receivers. You can see what they can do. And you maybe have 4 redshirt freshman receivers. Let's see who's the best. Let's see who's going to be our guys. You get an extra game, all these extra practices. So that's the main reason to get a bowl game. And obviously that situation didn't really matter to Notre Dame.
Okay. Yes. Last thing, college football, last question that we'll do today. And then we got a lot more stuff to talk about and cover. We'll do it in the upcoming weeks. And then we got to get to our MLB 4-pitch talk here in just a second. And the last question is this. And as I was writing this stuff, I kept going, man, I'm playing right into Cheese's hand here, but I'm going to play into your hand again. Everybody seems, including myself, as I was reading this, researching this, writing all this out, I'm for, you know what, let's go to 16 teams. Let's see how that works. And then it's like, okay, let's go to 20 or let's go to 24. I think we're just going to keep climbing. And everybody, again, including myself, wants to continue to expand the college football playoff. But if we really look at it this season, wouldn't it be easier to just drop them all down and just do the original 4? I mean, one of the very first questions I asked you, did they get the top 4 right? And both of us said yes. Okay, those are the 4 best teams. Those are the 4 teams that we really want to see. And then we just do it like it's been traditionally, and we watch bowl games to get good matchups with 2 great teams playing each other. Why? Why do we need to keep expanding it? Why shouldn't we have just kept it at 4? I'll give you your platform, sir. Go ahead.
Because teams complained. The biggest problem was the last time it was 4. Florida State went undefeated, didn't get in. Georgia won every game until the SEC title game and lost it and didn't get in. Georgia was number 1 in the country until that game, didn't get in. So it was Michigan, Washington, Alabama, and TCU.
I believe, yeah,
maybe that. Or TCU, no, TCU was the year before against Georgia. I don't remember. I can't think of the 14. But the point I'm trying to make is 5, 6, 7 was complaining so much. Like 5 and 6 really had a case. And honestly, I had no problem with 4. I like 2 even, because at least like the regular season mattered more. You can lose 2 games. Oklahoma can lose 2 games. They're in. No problem. Used to be, it meant something. Last year, if they'd done 4, Ohio State wouldn't have won. Notre Dame wouldn't have been in. Like, it would have been completely different. Oregon would have been the one. I don't know. Georgia would have been in. Boise State and Arizona State are not making it. They were top 4 seeds. They're not making it. I guess Penn State and Texas get in. Maybe Ohio State gets in. Maybe Notre Dame. Maybe. Yeah, probably Notre Dame would have gotten in with 1 loss. Who knows? But yeah, I didn't like when it went to 12. I would have preferred 2 or 4 personally, because I think the regular season meant more, and bowl games mean more if there's only 2 and 4. But it's about money now, and these playoff games probably do great ratings. I have one quick question for you.
Sure.
Because I was looking at the schedule right before the show. Do you like the fact, as an Ohio State fan, that they're playing the New Year's Eve game? Would you rather them play a New Year's Day game? They play the 7:30 ESPN.
Yeah, they play the late game on that night, right?
Yeah, New Year's Eve. They play 5:30 your time, New Year's Eve. Do you like that, or would you rather be on the 1st of January?
I really don't I don't care necessarily. I'm probably going to work both games, regardless. So it doesn't matter to me necessarily. Are you saying it because you think it's an advantage if they play a little earlier or a little later, or why would you ask?
I don't like that they're playing a game on New Year's Eve. I got other things I'm doing. I just don't like that. So I have to watch Ohio State, probably Texas A&M, a huge game, and I got to worry about that on New Year's Eve. And I got to worry about the finale of Stranger Things. That's what I got to be watching. So I just don't like that. I wish they put all 4 games on New Year's Day, but they got 3 games. I was just curious. I'm ready to talk about baseball. A lot going on.
Yeah, me too. There's a lot going on. I wanted to look at a couple things while we were doing this, but I was so into the college football stuff that I didn't get a chance to look away and see if there was any more signings or anything while we were talking. Because, like I said, the old man took a nap over here, so I haven't even been on X in probably 6 or 8 hours. So I don't know what's happened in these past little bit. But for those of you who do know, throw it at us. Tell us. We want to talk about it for a second.
Just that Orioles made the same offer to the Phillies for Kyle Schwarber, and he chose the Phillies. Makes sense. He was already there. It just makes sense. That's the only thing I've seen.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Kyle Schwarber here in just a second. Unfortunately, I had a huge thing because I didn't think Schwarber was going to get signed today. But I'm not going to chuck the whole thing. We're still going to do it here. I think it's pretty interesting, and we'll get your feedback off of it, and hopefully some of our fans will as well. But before we do that, we got to transition, so let's do it. we need to get into our MLB 4-pitch talk. I'm really liking this song more and more. Every time I play it, it's like, oh, this is the one that seems to stick in my head when the show is done.
I like the graphic. That's what I
love the graphic.
Yeah.
All right. Well, today, sir, you're going to get a privilege because you're going to get to be an MLB general manager today. I'm going to give you a bunch of stats, Mr. Kyle Schwarber, and then you're going to, even though he's already signed, we know what he's signed for, more than likely you do. And then we're also going to put you in as an elected person in the Baseball Hall of Fame Contemporary Baseball Era Committee and talk to you and see what you would have done with that. That's where our poll question comes into play. We're going to look at some different questions just in general about MLB free agents. And then we're going to talk about the new media rights deal that MLB has signed. Since we were talking about some very similar things with college football, we're going to put that into there as well. Thank you for everybody. Man, there's all kinds of people who are liking our podcast right now. A lot of our friends out there. We certainly appreciate the publicity. We thank you guys very much for backing us today. Our poll question, it's got 3 minutes left, guys. You can get over there. I tried to time this about right yesterday when I put it out there. Gave it a 24-hour time frame. You've got 3 minutes to go over and vote on it. Here it is. The Contemporary Baseball Era Committee voted in Jeff Kent. We'll talk about him in just a moment. But Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Gary Sheffield, nor Fernando Valenzuela received the necessary 5 votes to be voted on next year. So therefore, they can't be voted on until 2031. The question is, would you, our great fans out there in our Lights Out universe, would you have voted for any of them? So you can say yes to Bonds and Clemens. You can say yes to Fernando Valenzuela. You can say yes to Gary Sheffield, or you can say what the committee did and go, no, none of them deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. But geez, I'm really looking forward to doing this baseball segment with you here, buddy. We cut baseball a little short last week because of everything we got going on. We do have okay, so we again, yes. Thank you guys very much. I'm a big wrestling guy. I don't think Cheese really is, but I look at a lot of wrestling stuff too. So yes, we got a wrestling podcast that has reposted our stream. So we appreciate you guys doing that. And again, it's just showing that you're backing us, and we appreciate it. So here we go, buddy. You are going to be a GM of whatever team. It ends up the Phillies did this, so I guess maybe I'll put you as the Philadelphia Phillies GM for this particular exercise, right? I'm going to give you a bunch of Kyle Schwarber stats, both positive and negative, and then we're going to talk about what you would do. So you get to be the MLB GM. You get to decide if you want to sign Kyle Schwarber or not, considering the money and the years and his age. So here are the stats. You know this already. Most of our fans know this. He is the epitome of a 3 true outcome player. The 3 true outcomes would be home run, walk, or strikeout. A lot of his plate appearances, he's going to do one of those 3. He's been in the league for 11 years. He has 340 home runs in that time. So that means he averages 43 home runs per season for 11 seasons. His last 4 seasons, his home run totals have been really, really monstrous. 46, 47, 38, and 56. And all of those seasons with Philadelphia. He has a high 28.4% strikeout rate in his career, but he's also drawn walks at a high clip, 14.2, and that's for all 11 seasons combined. The league average rate is 22.4, and he strikes out at 28.4, and the league average walk rate is 8.4, and he has 14.2. So it's basically a trade-off. Here is the stat in my mind that makes a big difference to Kyle Schwarber. His hard hit percentage is 53. In other words, 53% of the times that he connects bat to ball, it is hit really, really hard. The league average is only 39%, and Kyle Schwarber is at 53%. In 2014, he slashed 300, 407, 490 for a weighted runs created plus of 152 against left-handers, and he is a lefty, compared to a 218, 342, 482 line and a 124 weighted runs created plus in all the other at-bats. So in 2015, those lines were 252, 366, 598, and 232, 364, and 541, respectively. So no matter what he did, righties, lefties, whatever, it was either a weighted runs created plus of 162 or 146, and league average is 100. So he was either 46 or 62% over. Now, there are a few downsides, Cheese, and I know I'm talking for a second, but I'm going to give you the floor in a second. There are some downsides with Schwarber. He is essentially only a DH at this point in his career. He has had just 13 outfield appearances over the last 2 years combined. And his age is also a factor. He'll be 33 in March. So Schwarber wants to secure, we'll go over what he actually got today, but he wanted to secure a $135 million 5-year bid in the offseason. That's roughly $25 million per season. If
27.
You're a GM, Cheese, what do you do?
5 years, 135 is 27 per year. But anyway.
Okay, sorry. My math's not great, but okay.
So it depends what team I'm on. If I'm the Phillies GM, I get it. Yeah, absolutely. He's a good fit for the ballpark. He is a leader in the locker room. He's always been just a great locker room guy. I remember when he was with the Cubs throughout their farm system. I followed him. He was just that guy that everyone likes. He's very calm and cool. He never loses his temper. He's just everybody likes him. And he's very big in that locker room. So, and he's ridiculous power.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
That's a good way of saying it.
I mean, some of his home runs, it's just like you can just see the ball jump off his bat. You know it's going 450 feet.
Mm-hmm. Hard hit percentage.
So, I get it. And this makes sense for the Phillies. Because you lose him, it would really hurt their lineup. But let's just play devil's advocate. I would not have given him that much money. I think when the Orioles went to 5 years, 150, that's when he's like, okay, Phillies, just, if you match that, I'll come back. I think that's what happened. The Pirates allegedly made a 4-year, $120 million deal. That is not a fact. That is reported. But here's my problem with Schwarber. He misses a lot in the postseason. His style, 3-2 outcome, you still need to put the ball in play in the postseason. You're facing better pitching, more strikeout pitchers. Last year in the postseason, he hit 188. In 2024, he hit 125 in the postseason. The Braves in the 2023 NLDS, a really big series for them. He hit 118 with a 211 on base percentage, no homers, no RBI. It seems like some postseasons he's had success. He was really good for the Cubs when they beat the Cleveland Indians in the World Series back in 2016. But he has not been good in the postseason the last 2 years at all. He has not done much, and that worries me. His age worries me. So I get why they kept him. It makes sense. It's good for the team, but I would probably not have done it.
Okay, so you're not going to give him 5 years, 150 like they just did.
Zero positional value. You got to, no defense to the thing. And when you have a DH only, because he can't play the outfield, he's so bad out there, then you can't. It's more. You got to think about the other players as well. If a guy's got a bad knee and he has to DH for a week or so, he can't, because you can't take 12 out of the lineup. Maybe he's the third baseman, but maybe you can DH him. No, you can't, because you have a DH only. So it also hurts your versatility in your lineup.
Yes, I'm glad you said that because that's correct. If you have a player who's a little dinged up, like your catcher is a little dinged up, but you want to keep his bat in the lineup because it's a good bat. You have your backup guy actually catch, and then you allow that guy to be your DH for the day. Well, the only way you can do that is if you put Kyle Schwarber on the bench because he can't play anywhere else. So
he's so bad in the outfield. He's so bad out there.
So bad. So now your $150 million guy is reduced to nothing. He's reduced to getting one, maybe two at bats in a game most because he's going to come off the bench. So there's some of these factors in here that I think everybody just sees the home runs, especially Reds fans right at the moment. Reds fans, I'm talking to you because a lot of you are disappointed right now. They're like,
they made him offer too, allegedly.
They did. Well, it's not allegedly. I can tell you that they did make him an offer. 5 years, roughly $125 million, but they also were going to put incentives and things in the contract. The Reds are a team, and I think that's smart. I love incentive-laden contracts. If I'm a GM, that's what I'd like to do. I'll give you X amount of guaranteed money, but I'm not going to guarantee you the whole contract, especially not somebody who's 33 years old and wants a 5-year contract. I don't want to get into an Albert Pujols contract. I don't want to get into any of those Angels contracts.
Josh Hamilton,
signed, right? Josh Hamilton, Anthony Rendon, right? Yeah. I don't want to get into that contract. And Reds fans would then, or any ball teams fans would be mad in those last year or two of that contract if you did it, even though they're mad when you don't do it. I mean, we're fans. We're very fickle and we're fanatics, so it's hard to please everybody. But I think what the Reds did with that 125, I know, Cheese. I'll let you talk in just a second. When they said 125, and we'll give you some incentives to where if you do well for us, then you're going to get paid still. But we're not just going to throw money at you and guarantee it to you. Go ahead, Cheese.
I was going to say the Reds, why they did it. I mean, it makes total sense. He's from Cincinnati.
Yes.
They need power.
Ohio.
They need power. They did not. Desperately. Great pitching. They did not hit the ball at the ballpark nearly enough. And he's a good fit for that ballpark. He would make total sense. As much as I don't want him to be on the Reds, it would have been an awesome story and really big for that organization if they had done that. But
now, why would you say you don't want him to be on the Reds? Why did you make that comment?
Because my teams are the Braves and the Cubs. And the Reds made the postseason last year. They were 83 and 79. They just got, if they had just one or two more guys that could hit more, they would have been dangerous in the postseason, but they just didn't hit enough. They couldn't hit against the Dodgers.
Well, I want, oh my gosh, his name just slipped my mind. I said it a few weeks ago. That's
Bo Bichette.
Yeah. Well, I'll take Bo Bichette too, but outfielder Cody Bellinger. There we go. I would much rather the Reds go out and get Cody Bellinger.
He'd be a good fit.
He would be a good fit. He gives you the power. He gives you the versatility. I think he gives you enough power and enough of the other characteristics that Kyle Schwarber doesn't give you for the same amount of money.
And he can play all three outfield spots at a high level.
Yeah, and first base.
And first base. Oh, yeah, he's a very good first baseman. Yes, very versatile. Cubs used him everywhere when they had him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that's so you wouldn't give him the 150. Where would you draw the line? Would you come into his agent and say, "Look, man, this is the top that we're going"? How is Cheese negotiating this contract?
Well, obviously, if I wouldn't go there, he wouldn't be on my team. But I would probably go like 3 years now. I wouldn't mind the $30 million, but I'd do like 3 years. I would not want more. And like I said, it just bothers me that how bad the last 2 years he's been in the postseason. And that's so important. And you have to, in the postseason, you can't count on homers. You're going to, at some point, you're going to have to slap a single the other way with a man on second and 2 out. You cannot count on hitting homers every single time you're up in the postseason. And if you're striking out or popping up with a man on second, 2 out, that's not helping your team. You got to put the ball in play at some point.
So what you're saying is there's more to a hitter than home runs. Is that what I'm hearing, Chief?
Yeah, it's like Mark McGwire. Like Mark McGwire is a great player. Was he always great in the postseason? No, because he was homer only. He had more homers than singles in his prime. That's crazy.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to go from a guy who we think might maybe become a Hall of Famer, or he's got a good shot in doing so, in Kyle Schwarber, to a person who was actually elected into the Hall of Fame on, I believe, Sunday or Monday. I think it was Monday, actually. Jeff Kent was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame. So he was revealed by the Contemporary Baseball Era Committee. That's who voted him in. So
Okay.
he didn't get into the original Hall of Fame when he was eligible for it. So now this Contemporary Baseball Era Committee looks at people like that who didn't get a chance to get in, and they gave him the nod. He got 14 of the possible 16 votes. So, Cheese, would you have voted for Jeff Kent?
I don't think so, no.
Wow. So you don't think Jeff Kent was the best offensive second baseman in baseball?
For a while, he was. He was very good for a long time. And he had a few really amazing years, but just because he played second base, I think people put a little too much emphasis on second base. It's like, okay, well, this guy played first base, easier position. This guy played corner outfield, and his numbers are way better than Jeff Kent's, but we're going to leave him out. That's just a little crazy to me. And I'd much rather have a player that's 5 or 6 elite, one of the best players in the game, than someone who's maybe 1 or 2 years like that and just very good for 15 years like Jeff Kent. I don't. A lot of people in the Hall of Fame, they put up numbers. It's a longevity contest. Like,
right.
For example, Dale Murphy.
Yes, we'll get to him in just a minute.
Oh, okay.
No, go ahead. You can give him his numbers.
Well, I mean, I'm a Braves homer, sure, but I'm just saying Dale Murphy had 5 or 6 unbelievable seasons, and by the time he was 33, 34, he was done. He was done. Jeff Kent still playing at all-star level, and he's punished because of that. But there were 4 or 5 seasons where he's like a 6 or 7 WAR player. He was unbelievable. Yeah. Jeff Kent had maybe 1 or 2 of those years. I think he did win an MVP. I could be wrong, but in his prime, in that stretch,
with the Giants, I believe.
Okay, in his stretch, Dale Murphy was much better player, but the longevity Jeff Kent had. So I would have voted for Dale Murphy ahead of Jeff Kent. I think it's crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that leads me to my next question, right? So you got Carlos Delgado, you got Dale Murphy, you got Don Mattingly. They were all on the same ballot as Jeff Kent. Jeff Kent got 14 of the 16 votes. Delgado, Murphy, and Mattingly all received 6 votes. That means they'll be able to be voted on again next year, so it keeps them on that ballot. So I'm going to assume that you would have voted for Dale Murphy. Would you have voted for either Carlos Delgado or Don Mattingly?
Nope. I don't think they did enough to make it. I would have voted for Murphy, but not for Mattingly or Delgado.
Okay. So all right. So you've already established the fact that you're not necessarily going to look at it as a longevity process. You would be okay with instead of a 12 or 14 year really good career, you're okay with a 6 or 8 year great career. Right?
6 or 8 year where you're one of the best at your position, elite player, one of the best players in baseball. And if you drop off when you hit 33, 34, yeah, I mean, it's like saying like Ken Griffey Jr. dropped off. Of course, he was better than Murphy. I'm not saying he wasn't, but guaranteed Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? It's I just think there's some people in the Hall of Fame. I'm not going to pick names. You can probably figure it out. You can probably Google that just played for such a long time and hit 300 wins or hit 400 homers or whatever, just whatever. But they really weren't ever one of the best at their position in their career, or maybe 1 or 2 years. And we're leaving out people like Dale Murphy, who was like a 6 or 7 win player in his prime. Just incredible player. I do have a problem with that. Yeah, Dale Murphy, by the time he was 33, 34, yeah, he was not very good, but I guess we kind of forget how good he really was.
All right. So then if that's going to be your thing here. I hope you're not going to disappoint me in a second, but so then you've got the guys that didn't receive enough votes to get placed on the ballot next year. And there's 4 of them: Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Gary Sheffield, and Fernando Valenzuela. All of them received less than the 5 votes. So they won't be able to be voted on again until 2031. Would you have voted for any of them?
My answer to the poll question, I couldn't click on mine because I would have clicked on Venezuela and Sheffield. Obviously Bonds and Clemens for a very different reason. It's
Okay.
not just that they cheated; it's the way they handled it. I mean, they arrogant. Clemens lied before Congress. Bonds just very unlikable person. They're both very unlikable. That if they came out and
Nice way
admitted,
of putting it.
apologize, they could have admitted it, apologized, gone speak to youth, saying I made a huge mistake. Do not do this. All the bad thing. This is why I'm not in the Hall of Fame. I'd love to be in. That is what they should have done. The way they handled it was horrible. So, but Sheffield and Valenzuela, do you know why they're not in? Because I can't figure out why. Because I did not see Fernando Valenzuela pitch. I was too young. But I saw Gary Sheffield play. He was really good.
Yeah.
He was so good. So do you know why? Mike, can you explain it to me? You're the baseball guy.
I don't really know why. I understand why Barry and Roger are tossed off to the side because I would do the same thing. But I agree with you on Gary Sheffield, and Fernando Valenzuela for me is right on that fringe of a yes or no guy. He is more of your guy. He had a really good shorter stint, but he was really, really good in that short stint. Gary Sheffield is like the opposite of what you've been saying. Gary Sheffield was above average for many years. He had a very long, he was with Atlanta. He was with several other teams too. He had a very long career. Yeah. And I don't know. For me personally, I modeled a lot of what I did after two guys, and one of them was Gary Sheffield. I love the bat. I love the waggle thing that he used to do with the bat and everything. I loved it. I always thought it was very intimidating. And I just loved to watch Gary Sheffield play. He was a great outfielder. He was a even better hitter. And I don't understand. And I think it's a travesty that Gary Sheffield's on this list. The other three guys, I'm not gonna scream and yell or picket for or anything like that, but I will for Gary Sheffield. He needs to be in the Hall of Fame, and he should have gotten in the original Hall of Fame. He shouldn't even have to be wondering about this contemporary baseball era committee thing. He was great in my mind.
He had 509 homers.
Yes.
Jeff Kent didn't even hit 400.
Correct.
How is this possible? Now, yeah, Gary Sheffield was playing great into his 30s, so there is some of that what I said, yes. But God, he had some good years for Atlanta. He had 6.8 for Atlanta. His best year came with the Braves when he was 34 years old. He actually played better in his 30s than he did his 20s.
He did.
He had a year with San Diego when he was 23. He hit 330. Oh my God! No one hits 330. It's 6.2 WAR. He had 5 years where he was 6 WAR. So that's 5 years elite. Yes, that's 5 years elite. He absolutely should be in. And I think Fernando Valenzuela should be in as well. Okay. I believe we have a poll question, right?
We do have a poll question. That's 100% right. It just quit. So the Baseball Era Committee voted in Jeff Kent, but Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Gary Sheffield, or Fernando Valenzuela. None of them received the 5 votes necessary to get voted onto in the upcoming season. So they have to wait till 2031. The question was, would you have voted for any of them? None of them got 18%. Yes to Gary Sheffield was next with 24%. What are you people doing? Look at some numbers, people. And then yes to Bonds and Clemens, and yes to Fernando Valenzuela. Each got 29%. So the voting was really close, by the way. So 29% of you said yes, Bonds and Clemens. 29% of you also said yes to Fernando. 24% said yes to Sheffield, and 18% of you said none to any of them.
I said yes to Sheffield. That was what I picked. Yes to Sheffield. So
yeah, I don't vote on any of these because I make them, so I don't try to do collusion here, and I don't want to be ESPN and ruin poll questions. So I don't ever vote. But if I would have said yes to Sheffield. That would have been my vote as well. All right, so let's talk about if you're a free agent right now. If you're a free agent, Cheese, would you pressure your agent to get you signed by Christmas?
No. Scott Boras is on the phone. No, I would never pick Scott Boras. Depends. I would love to be signed by Christmas. That's ideal. You do not want to go into next year without knowing where you're going to live. But if you don't have the right deal with the right contract in place, the right fit, it's more than just money. It's the right fit, right organization, right city, right everything. Then I'm going to wait till it's right. Well, okay, I was going to go further, but I just see you're going to ask that in a second.
Yeah, so if not by Christmas, would you want to be signed by the new year? Look at you reading ahead.
We don't do notes. It's all improv.
No.
Yeah, yes, you want it. Yeah, I want to know before Christmas. I don't want to wait till January and February, but if you have to, you have to. It's got to be the right fit.
Right. Okay. So would you hold out for more money? Now, I know you threw some other stuff out there. Oh, it's got to be the right city. It needs to be, I want to be on the team with some people that I know, or, something like that. But would you hold out just to say you want more money?
Well, it's just like ballpark fit too. Like Kyle Tucker was a terrible fit for the Cubs ballpark. It was a dumb trade. Jed Hoyer, got a contract extension, hurt their future. You have a ballpark that's so deep down the lines, like 353 down the lines, and Kyle Tucker's a dead pull hitter. Terrible fit, So am I a dead pull hitter? I'm not going to Chicago. I'm going to maybe like New York Yankee Stadium or Phillies or Reds or something like that. If I'm a gap-to-gap hitter, I do want to play in Wrigley. It's short in the gap. That's where you want gap-to-gap. It's great. So it depends on a lot of factors, but I'll just say this about money. A lot of players, more than I could ever imagine, and this, go where the most money is given. They don't factor in the city, the ballpark, the culture, everything. They just, wherever I can get the biggest contract, all the Boras clients pretty much do. To me, if I'm not even like an elite player, if I'm a free agent, I'm just like a good player, and someone offers me 3 years, $33 million, let's say.
Okay.
And that's a great fit, a city that I like, a team I like, culture, ballpark. And another team says, oh, we'll give you 3 years, 39. The difference between 33 million and 39 to me is nothing. There is no difference in my life right now, and I assume you agree, between 33 and 39 million. Nothing. That's the same. Of course, taxes, Texas and Florida, you're going to make more money than California, right, and Massachusetts if you play for Boston. But so money, it is important. Of course it is, but it's not the biggest factor. But I would hold out for more money if and only if it's other factors were part of it.
Well, I'm going to bring this up real fast because I like your point about holding out for more money, but I think it depends on where you are in your career. If you're towards the end of your career, you're probably not going to hold out for more money. If you're towards the front of your career, or in like college football, like we were talking about earlier, if you're looking at just NIL money and you can get another three, because I remember you saying earlier, well, how much money is enough? Well, it depends on if you're 18, 19, 20, or if you're 31, 32, or 33. That makes a difference to you as well. So we're really going to get into some of this money and loyalty talk and stuff next week. I can't wait to do it with you. We're going to kind of span that over all of these three great sports that you and I both love. But I want to give you some breaking news.
Okay.
The Pittsburgh Pirates have signed a free agent.
I don't believe you.
Yes, they really have. The Pittsburgh Pirates are in agreement on a 1-year, $7.75 million deal with reliever Gregory Soto.
The lefty? Lefty, yeah. He's okay. He's nothing great.
That's a pretty big deal for the Pirates, though, isn't it?
A little overpay. He's nothing, I don't know.
Yeah,
that's an overpay.
I would say you're right as well, but that's what the Pirates are going to have to do, right? They're going to have to overpay to get you. We were just talking about it, right? The right team, the right fit, Okay, so Gregory Soto goes back to the Pirates, and who offered him $5 million, and he's like, I'm not going to do it for $5 million. Well, how about $6 million? And then he thinks about it a little more, and they can see him thinking about, okay, so how about $7.5 million? Well, I tell you what, you go to $7.75 and you got a deal. Okay. Right, so they're going to have to kind of overpay to get people to look past the fact that it's Pittsburgh and they'll go play for the Buccos, right?
I guess that's we heard they're going to spend money. They made it Kyle Schwarber an offer. This is not going to get the fans excited. This is not the kind of sign
No,
we were
it's
hoping
not,
for.
but it's a start.
It's a start. Okay,
It's a
sure.
start.
We'll take
All
it.
right, so let me just go over the new MLB media rights deal. Do you have anything else you want to talk about here for a second, Cheese, or am I
No, keep going. We're good.
knocking you out?
No, go.
No. Okay. So we've been talking about money, and we've been talking about how ESPN is doing this stuff, and how the college football is played out, and how the bowl games and all that money and everything. So I also wanted to look at it because a few weeks ago, and we haven't talked about it yet, Major League Baseball signed a bunch of 3-year contracts with a bunch of different streaming services and stuff like that, and how you and I will be able to take in baseball this year. So if you haven't heard, let's give you all the details. NBC is now jumping back into Major League Baseball. They used to be a huge player way back when in Major League Baseball, and they kind of dropped out. Now they're coming back. NBC will have opening day coverage of the Dodgers versus Diamondbacks, and they've got exclusive rights to that game. They will also be the conglomerate that will take over Sunday Night Baseball. So now that's going to be on NBC. They also get 4 wild card series within their agreement. So NBC is jumping back in with both feet. Peacock, which of course is also owned by NBC, if the name Peacock didn't give it away to you, will air some other Sunday night games if there is a conflict between like the Olympics or something like that NBC is covering. So Peacock will take that over. And then Peacock is also getting the 18-game Sunday morning streaming package. Now, personally, I love this package, and I will probably get this from them. They, especially for me on the West Coast, I can get up and they're on relatively early in the morning, and I get to see those games. Now, for the people on the East Coast, I'm not sure how intriguing it is to them because they got to get up like really, really early to watch these games. But for me, it's not so bad. I like the 18-game, what they call Sunday morning streaming package. ESPN, unfortunately, has assumed the oversight of MLB.TV. Plus, they now own all the rights to the games of the following teams: the Diamondbacks, the Guardians, the Rockies, the Twins, the Padres, and the Mariners. Those are all the teams that the Regional Sports Network, RSP is with RSN. They failed. They gave them up. Major League Baseball took them over. And so ESPN has got the rights to MLB.TV. We don't know what that's really going to entail yet. I'm scared because I have MLB.TV and I don't like ESPN. So I'm scared about this particular merger, but we'll see what happens here. And then they own the rights to the Diamondbacks, Guardians, Rockies, Twins, Padres, and Mariners. And they also have a 30-game slate that's divided out throughout the year, with the big game, the one they centered everything on, being the Little League Classic. So the only way you're going to be able to watch that game, which I love to see every year, is on ESPN. Now, it doesn't say if they're going to put it on the app or what they're going to do, but right at the moment, they're just saying they have the rights to all of those things. And then, if you haven't heard, Netflix has jumped into Major League Baseball as well. So Netflix will broadcast the Home Run Derby. They'll broadcast the Field of Dreams games. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of stuff. And then they have exclusive rights to the Yankees and Giants on opening day. Here's the big thing as we end this, and I'll let you talk about this for a moment, sir. All of these contracts expire in 2028. So in 2028, no one's covering baseball into 2029, and they can sell either a whole bunch of small contracts to a bunch of smaller entities, or they can do one huge contract to one great big conglomerate, which again scares me because I'm afraid those 4 letters are going to come back into play again, and we're going to be really saying that ESPN's ruining sports. So talk to me about what you think about what Major League Baseball has done with their dividing and conquering, as far as you and I being able to be able to soak up games for the next 3 years.
Being on so many networks and some streaming, some not, it's just going to piss off fans. They want to watch all the games. Some people don't have Netflix, don't have Peacock, some people don't have ESPN. It's just annoying. And I'll say this about NBC. Just don't hire A-Rod and Big Papi, because watching them talk is like I want to take a knee on stab my ear so I never can hear again when they are doing the pregame show. And Derek Jeter is nothing great, but he's great compared to them. Maybe that's why he works with them. Just don't hear A-Rod or Big Poppy. Like, nobody wants to hear A-Rod. Yankees fans don't want to hear him. Nobody likes him. But I don't know. I don't love this. Here's what I do want.
Okay.
I want every game from whatever team to be on one streaming service. So maybe Netflix has the Braves, and maybe Peacock has the Diamondbacks, and maybe Prime has the Reds or something like that. So you only have to get one streaming service if you just want to watch that team, and you pay just that monthly fee. That's what they need to do. These teams need to partner with streaming services. So, for example, like you just want to watch Red games, you only have to get Amazon Prime. Boom. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, sounds nice.
Now, and then, of course, maybe once a week it's National Televised Game. Then it won't be on Prime. They'll be on NBC or ESPN or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want. But I don't see that ever happening.
No. No, I don't either. But, and by the way, you did bring up, I believe you said something about Apple. They have a contract in there, too. I forgot to mention them. In fact, I didn't write the notes down for that.
I hate when the game's on Apple, the Friday night game. I hate that. I just don't get to see it because I'm not getting Apple. I refuse to get Apple TV.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about that later because I actually like the broadcast they do. I like how they present it. But
never seen it.
Okay. Well, maybe you should watch it first before you say you don't like it. But anyway.
I don't like Apple TV. I have no problem. I've never seen the broadcast. I don't like Apple as a company.
Okay. All right. Well, that's something we'll probably talk about later. So let's jump into our football stuff because I know Cheese is chomping at the bit to do so. So let's do it. Let's transition to NFL 4-down territory. All right, Cheese, give us a preview. What are we going to talk about over the next few minutes as far as the NFL goes?
We're going to talk about the two quarterbacks that were in the Super Bowl last year, how it's not going well. We're going to talk about the Green Bay Packers' last two starting quarterbacks. We're going to compare their first 45 games. We'll talk about the NFC South, and then we have to talk about Phillip Rivers coming out of retirement with the Colts. So I'm going to cut a little bit because you actually asked we've talked a little bit this already in the beginning of the show.
Yeah, the
so
5 and 5, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the flaming 5 and 5. So, All right, you ready to go?
I am, buddy. Let's do it.
Okay. So the two quarterbacks that were in the Super Bowl. Can we turn the music down a little bit?
Oh, is that why you were okay? That's why you were giving me that thing. Was what? Let's just pause it. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
I can hear you just fine, but okay.
Oh, okay. The two quarterbacks in the Super Bowl last year were Jalen Hurts of the Eagles and Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs.
Yes.
This past week, they were on Sunday night and Monday night. They combined to throw 0 touchdowns and 7 interceptions.
Ooh.
Disaster for both teams. Let's talk about Hurts first. The Eagles have collapsed. They have been awful, like we talked about earlier. Do you think Jalen Hurts is the main problem?
Boy, I think it's easy to blame him, but I don't know if he's the main problem. I mean, NFL is the ultimate team sport. There's 53 people on that roster, not counting the coaches and everybody else, right? So you have to be good in all phases, and you just can't say, even though Hurts has not looked good, and he threw 4, I believe, interceptions just in the Monday night game alone, and
he hit a fumble too.
Yeah,
did you watch that game?
I watched part of it.
He throws an interception. The defensive lineman, to a defensive lineman, those are the worst.
Yeah.
Gets the ball punched out. Jalen Hurts picks it up, starts running with it, and then he gets it knocked out for a fumble. There was 18 turnovers in that game. It was one of the craziest games I have ever seen in my life. And it went to overtime.
Right.
But yeah, Hurts, 4 interceptions he did.
Yeah. So I mean, when you throw 4 interceptions, it's hard to win a game. When you have 4 turnovers in a game, it's hard to win that game, no matter how they come. Yeah. So
And
they
they
even
almost
had
won.
5.
Oh, the
Yeah.
Chargers didn't play well either. Both teams were playing awful. It almost was like Duke, Virginia. It was very similar. Both teams did not really want to win. Yeah, we talked about it earlier. I think the offensive coordinator is a problem. The coaching's a problem. Run defense. But Saquon Barkley had a big game.
Mhm.
If Saquon Barkley has a big game, you should not throw 0 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Hurts was awful in that game. They're a mess. The Cowboys are not out of it because the Eagles are an absolute mess. I mean, do you think there's any chance that they repeat? Or do you think they're done?
I don't think they're done. They look bad, though. When Troy Aikman says you look bad on the ESPN broadcast, you really look bad. And he said it multiple times. He kept saying they just don't look like they're on the same page. Their timing looks off. And you know as well as I do, Cheese, they've not ever been an offensive juggernaut. They've just been good enough on offense, and their defense has been what's really gotten them where they've gone over the past few years. So when your defense doesn't play as well and your offense plays even worse, I don't see them going very far in the playoffs. But because of the start they got off to and the other teams in that division, I think they're still going to make it. I just don't think they're going to go very far.
They haven't been an offensive juggernaut except in the NFC title game and the Super Bowl last year. They were. Those 2 games, their offense was amazing.
Yeah,
but you're right. Other than that, they have not been. Their offense, 2 years ago, completely collapsed. They couldn't move the ball at all. Nope. They lost first round at Tampa. They couldn't do anything. So, yeah. I don't – there's a lot of talent in that roster. I don't know why they're this bad. Let's talk about Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
He is far removed from the 2022 season where he threw 41 touchdowns and won the MVP. He has not thrown for more than 27 touchdowns since. Do you think he can ever get back to that level of play?
All right. Let me preference this by a couple of things. I don't particularly like Patrick Mahomes, the person. Okay. I don't particularly like what he does, what he stands for, all these crazy commercials that he does, stuff like that. But he's popular. He's making tons of money. I get why he's doing it. But I also don't think that it's his fault. I think he's the guy that everybody's going to blame. Every time I watch a Chiefs game, with my Taylor Swift music playing in the background, every time I watch a Chiefs game, I had to say it to you.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Okay. His receivers drop stuff. They need to get receivers for Patrick Mahomes, and then that team will be fine. Right now, their receivers are terrible. Travis Kelce is even terrible. How many balls has he dropped this year? I want to say that I don't like Mahomes and that he's the culprit, but by your thing, the eye test, right? Every time I watch their games, I see their receivers dropping the balls, and that's not Patrick Mahomes' fault. He just doesn't have good receivers right now. Think of where he would be if he had T. Higgins and Chase.
I'll say this. Against the Eagles, they lost that game because a ball went off Travis Kelce's hands that should have been a touchdown, was intercepted.
Mm-hmm.
One of the 3 interceptions he threw against the Texans went off Travis Kelce's hands and was intercepted. So he's not getting a lot of help. I get that. Travis Kelce, I don't I don't know what he's doing out there. Yeah. Other than that, he's had a pretty good year. But so I'll say that. But at the same time, to me, he just doesn't look like the same guy. And they're 6-7. And to me, he played better last 2 years with a similar receiving core. And they have the same record as the Dolphins. I'm just going to say they have the same record as the Dolphins. That's crazy. But do you still think Mahomes? I think before this season, I think just about everybody, unless you're like a Chiefs hater, like a Broncos or Raiders fan, considered Mahomes a top 5 quarterback. Do you still think he is?
Yeah, like I said, I still think he's a good quarterback. I just don't think he's getting any help right now.
Okay. I don't know if I'd put him in the top 5 right now. I'd still put him top 7 or 8, but I might move him out. But I get it. Okay.
Maybe
All right,
next
now I
week
wanna-
we need to rank quarterbacks then. When we do our lights out list, maybe we need to rank quarterbacks and see where Mahomes falls for both of us.
We can do that next week. I did it. I did a whole video before the season. My video is holding up for the most part. There are a few bad ones, but yeah, I would move some people up and some people down. But I had him 5th, I believe. So, no, 4th. I had him 4th. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
So I want to throw this stat out at you. Didn't put this in the notes. I want to see your reaction.
Okay. So before you do that, though, you said that your videos are doing really well. Where are your videos at? Where can we get those at, sir?
I can't believe I didn't shamelessly plug. I set myself
I know.
up.
I was
I
waiting.
usually just shamelessly plug everything of mine. Okay. At Football with Cheese, Football with, and then CHEEZ on YouTube. I just did a couple Colts videos so far this week. Did a Notre Dame video. I thought they should have been in the playoffs. So if you live in Indiana, you're going to like my videos. So check
we'll
those
talk
out.
about
And-
the Colts in a minute too.
Yep, we were about to talk about the Colts. I did a Colts quarterback situation without Philip Rivers involved, and I did an instant reaction to the signing. So make sure you check that out.
All right.
And make
we'll
sure
link
you
them
give-
here on
make sure you-
our Twitter.
And if you like this on YouTube, make sure you give this a thumbs up and tell your friends about the podcast. We do this
Both of
every
them.
Tuesday, and sometimes we do specials. We're probably going to have to do those in the future. A lot going on in college football.
Yep.
I want to throw this stat out at you
Okay, give it to
and
me.
get your reaction. The last AFC title game that did not feature either Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady as the starting quarterback in one of the games, one of the teams.
Okay.
Do you know what year that was?
Oh man. It wasn't before I was born. It might have been before you were born. Let's see. Let me guess here for a second. Let's see. This is. I'm gonna say 2014.
2010.
Wow.
And Tom Brady hasn't played for the Patriots in 5 years. Okay, 2010. I'm going to give you the teams. Let's see if you can name the quarterbacks, okay?
Oh,
Pittsburgh Steelers and New York Jets played in that AFC title game.
all right. Pittsburgh Steelers is pretty easy because it's Ben Roethlisberger, I would assume.
Correct. Who was the Jets
Mm,
quarterback?
New York Jet. Eli Manning.
Well, he played for the Giants, not the Jets.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Jets. Wow.
Yeah.
Hold on. Give me a second because I'm stupid. Let's see here.
I didn't say that. I
Well,
never
I
said
did.
that. I never will. I'll never say that.
Brett Favre.
Close, but actually it was Mark Sanchez.
Oh.
Mr. Jailbird himself. No more butt
Yep.
fumble.
Mhm.
He attacks DoorDash drivers. Hey, I'll say this. The 2010 season, you know who won the Super Bowl that year?
No.
History might repeat themselves. The Green Bay Packers beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in that Super Bowl.
Hmm.
Just throwing it out there.
Just throwing it out there. Just happened to have that stat right there.
I got one more for you. Oh,
Sure.
I got
I love stats. You know I do.
You love this. You're going to love this stat too. Okay. The last time an AFC title game did not include, can you guess the year? One of these 4 quarterbacks: Mahomes, Brady, Roethlisberger, or Manning. Can you name the year?
2007.
2003.
Wow. That is insane.
Yes. One of those 4 quarterbacks. Well, those teams were so good. I'm going to give you the teams. You tell me the quarterbacks. One of these you should get pretty easy.
Okay.
It was the Raiders and the Titans in that AFC title game.
Warren Moon.
Warren Moon was more like 90s. This is 2003.
2003.
So no, Warren Moon was not on the and he was never on the Titans. He was a Houston Oiler only.
Yeah, but they transferred to the Titans though, right?
They did,
See,
but
this
he never played for the Titans.
Okay. All right. I'm just digging myself a deeper hole. I'll shut up now.
It's okay. No,
Let's see here. Raiders and Titans, right?
yes. The Raiders would go on to play the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl and lose.
I should probably know one of these, especially since you set it up and said, "Oh, by the way, you're not that dumb. You're going to get one of them," and now I can't get either one of them. Randall Cunningham.
No. Do you want me to tell you?
Give me a couple more. Let's see.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to think of a Raiders guy here.
Someone is texting you the answer. I can hear your phone buzzing.
Yeah, probably so. Somebody probably is trying to help me. They're like, "Here, dummy, just read the message." Now go ahead and tell me.
Steve McNair. Steve McNair is the Titans. I thought you get that one.
Okay.
Yeah. The Raiders
Wrong
quarterback.
African American quarterback. I'm sorry.
Okay. The Raiders quarterback. I'm looking up his age because he's 59 years old.
Right now?
He is 59. Yes, currently. Even older than you, if it's possible.
Yes.
Yes. The Raiders quarterback was Rich Gannon. So last time it wasn't Brady Roethlisberger, Manning Mahomes. It was Rich Gannon for the Raiders and Steve McNair. That is crazy. But this year, it's almost no chance, unless the Chiefs went out and get some help, probably no chance that it's going to be a Mahomes or Brady. So anyway, just through that. I know you like stats.
I do. You're 100% right.
All right. So let's talk real quick about the Packers. I'm going to give you some stats between Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love, their first 45 games. Aaron Rodgers won 25 games, Jordan Love 27. So a little bit, Love has a little advantage there. It's a team game, but Aaron Rodgers 64.5% completion, Love 64.7. Yards over 11,000 for Rodgers. He's got about 1,200 more yards, so more yards there. Touchdowns, Rodgers 81, Love 79. Interceptions, Rodgers 30, Love 26, so Love's a little ahead there. Quarterback rating, 98.5 for Rodgers, 98.8 for Love. So pretty much even. More touchdowns for Rodgers, fewer interceptions for Love, a little bit more yards for Rodgers. But other than that, crazy how close those stats were.
They were.
Did that surprise you, how close they were after 45 games?
Yeah, it does actually, because I think that we, at least myself, I think that we have always kind of thought that Rodgers was a lot better than Love, but Love's holding his own. That surprises me a little bit. I do want to ask you this, as far as your Green Bay Packers go. I watched every snap of that game between the Packers and the Bears, thinking of you the entire time, right? If I'd have had pajamas on, I'd have worn them. So,
thank you. We'll get you.
No problem.
I will get those.
Christmas is coming, just so you know.
Okay.
I'll put it
on the list.
Okay. I really saw Love chucking it down the field. Big play after big play. Big pass after big pass. He's got a really nice deep ball that I didn't really know that he had. I knew he had that intermediate, but he's got a really nice deep pass. Do you like him throwing the ball down the field like that over and over and over again?
I do, if it's not double, triple coverage. He's done that a few times in the past. Absolutely. He has as good an arm as just about anyone in the NFL. He has got tools. He can move. He's got the arm. He's got a pretty ball. He can flick his wrist. He's got zip on it. Mm-hmm. He's got tools. He fell in the draft because he went to Utah State and he had a real inconsistent junior year, threw way too many interceptions, not because of the talent or the tools. But minus the interception, which was horrible. You said you watched every snap. The interception was horrible. Yeah, but other than that, and then he had one more play where he threw deep to Romeo Doubs, who was like not a fast receiver, made no sense. Jaden Reed was coming wide open, so that was a bad read. Other than that, he was tremendous in that game.
Him and Christian look good together.
They do. Christian Watson, when they lost Tucker Kraft, I was devastated, but that's when Christian Watson came back. So it has helped. Imagine having a 6'4", 210-pound receiver that runs a 4.3. And the Bears tried to cover him single coverage a couple times, like man, forget it.
The only other thing that I'll say to you, and I'd love to get your reaction on this too, and I know I'm kind of hijacking your football segment here for a second, but why don't they use Golden more? I mean, I kept waiting for them to throw the ball to Golden, and it never really materialized, never really happened. What's the deal there? He's
been pretty banged up for the most of the year. He's had a shoulder, he's had, I think, an ankle the last month, so he's been inactive a bunch. He's barely played. The interception was intended for Golden. Mm-hmm. And I just think right now he's just behind some other guys because, Dontavian Wicks didn't play much because of the ankle this past game, but, Watson and you got Jaden Reed back and Dobbs lately not so good, but he's had a good year up until the last couple of games. Other guys are just playing better. He will factor in much more next year. Just right now, he's the fifth receiver on the depth chart. I don't think it's anything I don't think he's bad. I think it's been injuries and the fact that other guys are just playing better. And he's playing like Romeo Dobbs, a free agent of the year. He's playing the spot that he will play Dobbs snaps next year. It's just right now that Love just trusts Dobbs more.
Okay.
But so I made a video a few weeks back, and I called Jordan Love a top 10 quarterback. I asked you on this podcast. You disagreed. You said he's not there yet. Do you still believe that he is not a top 10 quarterback?
Wow. That's a really good question. I'm going to put him at the bottom of that top 10. He's not a 5 yet, but
I agree with
he's 8, 9, 10, somewhere in that range.
I don't have him top 5 either. And we'll do the list next week. But I have him higher than you. But
okay,
he just there's 2 or 3 throws a game where he makes the wrong read or that dumb. That's why he's not top 5. But I get it. I'm going to give you a stat here. Jordan Love is 4-1 against the Bears in his career. The one loss, he played one series and then took him out because they were already in the playoffs last year. It's the last game of the year. So basically 4-0 against the Bears when he plays the game. The last time a Bears quarterback even had 4 total wins against the Packers was 1993.
And they love poking at these Bears fans, don't you?
The quarterback has been a head coach for a long time is Jim Harbaugh. Is that crazy?
That is pretty crazy, though.
Jim Harbaugh was the last time that and he got his 4th win, I think, in his last year with the Bears in 1993. So we're talking that's when Brett Favre first became a Packer. Is the last time a Bears quarterback. Just want to throw that stat out there. All right. We talked AFC North last week. We're not going to bring it up now. We're not going to bring up the Burrow interception. Oh, crap.
Both of them? Whew. On back-to-back plays?
You love stats. I got to mention this now.
Okay.
When Christian Bedford had that pick 6.
Yes.
Next Gen Stats has been around for like 10 years or so, maybe 10, 12 years. There's no play since they started their, company that has impacted a game more for winning percentage. The Bills had a 16% chance to win before that play and had a 77% chance to win after.
Wow.
So they've only had 5 games ever. They've only had 5 games ever that had 50% chance to win difference on one play. And that was 16 to 77, 61% chance. I did the math for you.
Thanks.
On one play ever since they started their company. Sorry. Anyway, just you like stats. You hate that one, though.
Yes. It's okay.
If they win that game, they have something like a 16, 18, 20, depending on look at chance to make the playoffs. Believe it or not.
They have a 1.
Yeah, they have 1. Okay. So we talked AFC North last week. We're going to talk NFC South this week. We were both high on the Buccaneers before this season. You even had them representing the NFC in the Super Bowl. Currently, the Bucs and the Panthers are tied at first place in the division at 7-6. Okay?
Yes.
The Buccaneers just lost at home to the rebuilding Saints. Now, the Bucs and Panthers, I hate that. They haven't even played this year. I hate waiting till the end of the year. The Eagles and Commanders haven't even played yet. It's ridiculous, but topic for another day. But they still play each other twice. I'm going to give you their schedules. Okay? 4 games left. Buccaneers play Falcons at home, at Panthers, at Dolphins, which now won't be easy, was early in the year, and then they get Panthers at home. The Panthers are at the Saints, Buccaneers at home, Seahawks at home, at the Buccaneers. Who do you think wins the division based on those schedules?
Well, I still believe in the Buccaneers. I would say no matter what the schedule is, I would give the Buccaneers the edge. Until Carolina does it, I'm not going to believe in them. And, you talk about the tools all the time, right? Man, Tampa Bay has all the tools if they get everybody back healthy. So, I don't know the status of Evans, although I believe he's on his 21-day window. So he should be coming back soon. I believe a lot in Emeka Ibuka, even though he's fallen off a little bit here. The teams are starting to double team him and things. So, and now they've got Bucky back. So I still believe in Tampa Bay. Yeah, I still believe in Tampa Bay. I'm just going to say it that way.
They've had some offensive line injuries. Did you see Egbuka's drop in the end zone?
Yes.
4-point swing there. They lost by 4. Just throwing it out there. And the defense also has not been playing very well of late. So it's not, just the injuries. They're having some issues. I'll say this. If they lose, they play Thursday, so they have a quick turnaround. They lost the Saints at home. If they lose to the Falcons at home, if they go Saints at home, Falcons at home, 2 bad teams, then I don't think they win. They would have to sweep the Panthers to win the division, in my opinion. You can't. I mean, you look at the schedule, you're thinking, okay, yeah, Saints at home, Panthers at home, or Saints at home, Falcons at home, late in the year. Oh, there's 2 easy wins. We got this. So it's a must-win for the Buccaneers, I think.
It is. It 100% is. And I'll tell you this, I was preparing a side podcast to do when the Bengals scored the first 21 points. I was like, I was thinking this game was over. And I was preparing, okay, well, the Bills are in trouble. And I was going through, looking at their schedule, taking some notes down and all of this. Is their coach going to get fired? How are we going to look at Josh Allen going forward? And I was preparing this whole big thing, and then here they come roaring back and win the game. And I threw that notebook across the room like Jordan Love does down a football field. So, yeah, I was pretty upset with that.
My top 4 quarterbacks, when I did my top 10 for the season, were Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. There's a very good chance one of them makes the postseason. Just Josh Allen.
Yeah.
That's how crazy this year has been. So I'm looking forward to that top 10. Okay. So you say Bucks. Do you still believe they can go on a Super Bowl run? Do you still think they could represent the NFC in the Super Bowl?
Yes, because I don't really see another team in the NFC that has the same offensive level of talent. There are some teams that have a better defense and things like that, but I don't know if there's a team that can, if they have Evans.
What about the Rams?
And really, you got to put the Seahawks in there too, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you stop punching holes in my logic live on our podcast, please?
Hey, Packers got a pretty good offense. Just saying.
Yeah. I don't know. So I'm this guy. Okay. So I know my Bengals aren't going to make it. Obviously, the Cardinals aren't going to make it since they're already eliminated, right? So I've started picking. It's like, okay, so I've got to pick another team. Because that's what's going to keep me interested in the NFL season as I get behind another team. And the team that I decided to get behind was Tampa Bay. So now I really don't want Tampa Bay to get knocked out too. And it has to be me at that point.
Well, the thing with Tampa is they will be at worst the 4 seed if they win the division. So they're going to get a home game. If they win the division, they'll get a home game. So at least you get, they lost it to Washington last year, but you win that game, you're already 1 round in. So yeah, anything can happen. I get it. I think so too. I think they could go on a run. I think they could win in Seattle. They already did, actually. They could go to LA and win. They could. They have the offensive talent. They could. So I agree. Okay. Right. So you have not watched my instant reaction to the Colts signing Philip Rivers.
No, I haven't.
So I'll let you talk first, and I'll give my opinion. But so the Colts, they lost Daniel Jones, their starting quarterback, to Achilles tear. Anthony Richardson was doing pregame warm-ups and broke his face or something. Insane. Orbital bone. Okay. So he's not available. Their current starter is 6th-round rookie Riley Leonard from Notre Dame. So not ideal. I also heard first thing I heard was Rivers was going to be a mentor to Riley Leonard, help him out, only play an emergency. Then about 45 minutes later, right before I'm out to the video, I hear that Rivers could play sooner rather than later, according to Ian Rappaport. Sooner rather than later, whatever that means. I think this is a desperate move, and it could end in disaster. What do you think?
I don't like it. I don't like pulling a grandpa out of retirement because he's literally a grandfather.
I know. I know.
I mean, I couldn't. Even if I was a really good quarterback, it can't be money motivated, right? It can't be. He's got the insurance for the rest of his life. Mm-hmm. I don't understand why he's doing this for. Why he's putting himself at risk for this. And I think I'm telling you what should have happened. The Colts should have went to the Cincinnati Bengals and asked for Joe Flacco. He could have done the Bengals could have released him, mm-hmm. and then the Colts pick him up. I think that is a much smarter option than what they're going with.
But why would the Bengals help them out?
Why not? They're not doing anything this year. Why not help them out?
I guess, but is that kind of some kind of collusion? I don't know. That would be ideal for the Colts. I mean, that'd be mm-hmm. better. I think Daniel Jones is better than Flacco, but not much, to be honest with you. Don't you also think that because of what Flacco did for the Bengals, he came over, he learned the playbook quick, he got out there, he played, he's been dealing with a bum shoulder himself. I think the not necessarily, are the Bengals willing to help? I think are the Bengals willing to give an olive branch to Joe Flacco and say, hey, you came over here, I wish it would have worked out better. You tried your best to help us out. We just couldn't get it done. So you know what? We're going to release you. Go over here to Indianapolis and see if you can get to the playoffs one last time before you turn into Phillip Rivers. And I think it's more of what the Bengals could do for Joe Flacco, not what the Bengals could do for the Indianapolis Colts. Interesting point. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I think Joe Flacco is going to remain a Bengal, but that would be ideal for the Colts. There's no other option that's better than that out there. Mm-hmm. But I'll say this, and I talk about this more in depth in my videos, so check out my channel at Football with Cheese. He hasn't played in 5 years. They were 11-5 that year, the Colts, because he played his last year for the Colts, most of his career for the Chargers. He threw 24 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. His QBR is 55. He was league average. He's a league average quarterback last year. What do you think you're going to get? 5 years later, he's 44. His name is not Tom Brady. What do you think you're going to get from him? You think you're going to get better than Riley Leonard? Or is Riley Leonard that bad that you're willing to take a guy who hasn't played in 5 years? I just don't. I don't understand this. You're not winning a Super Bowl with Phillip Rivers. You're not making the playoffs with Phillip Rivers. So what are they doing? What is this a PR move? What are they doing?
Leonard either.
Right. Is this a PR move though? Like, is this just
I don't know if it's a PR move. I think what you said originally is 100% why they were doing it for. Phillip, come in, help us, mentor our guy, right? You were here with us for a few years. You know how this runs. You're one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Be our backup, which is what he should be. Be our backup, almost be our emergency quarterback, right? And be here in practice, see him, help him, and hopefully they dumb the playbook down some. Because what I would rather see in this quarterback is he can do 10 plays really well instead of 20 plays average. He needs to do 10 plays really well. I mean, and I don't think that's a bad thing. You just give him 10 plays to start out with, and then you add 2 or 3 more every week just to give it a little bit of difference so that people can't watch the tape and go, oh, we know what's coming. Oh, we know what's coming. Because I've heard that about the Cardinals a few times this year where other teams knew what play was coming before the Cardinals even snapped the ball.
Yep. It's a very vanilla offense. Very vanilla. They line up Marvin Harrison Jr. in pretty much the same spot almost every play. How is that helping him? It's not. But going back to Rivers, he was never a mobile quarterback anyway. There's no way he can move. He's a pocket only. He's going to be Dan Marino at the end of his career. Maybe not that bad, but he's not going to be able to move. Riley Leonard at least can move. He's athletic. He can move. He's mobile.
And he's actually really good at moving. That's probably his best trait, to be honest.
Yeah, he is. So putting Phillip Rivers back there, I don't know if you saw Dan Marino at the end of his career. He basically just stood there, and if he didn't have it, he threw it away because he couldn't move. I imagine Phillip Rivers is going to be very similar. So
let me ask you this: what kind of backlash is Indianapolis going to get if they put a beloved quarterback back there and he gets blasted and he falls on the ground and does the Tua Tagovailoa thing with his fingers, and we all know what's, that he's getting some kind of, concussion, or he's and you ruin a man's life because you were trying to get to the playoffs.
I hope it doesn't ruin his life, but yeah, he could be. Yeah,
but it
could. He could absolutely get nailed. And let's just say this: they're at Seattle. They're not going to win that game.
No.
There is a small chance, but they're not going to win that game because their defense isn't very good, and Sauce Gardner is probably not going to play. So who's going to cover Jackson Smith and Jigba? Not Sauce Gardner. If he's not going to play, they're not going to win that game. Then they host the 49ers, who are 9-4 team.
Yeah, that's winnable.
Then they host the Jaguars. They're winnable, but those teams have 9 wins. They're both 9-4. Then they're at Houston. Like, I could see them losing all of those. They'd be lucky to win one. They're 8-5. They win one, they're 9-8. They're not making the playoffs. I just don't. I think it's a dumb move. I think it's desperate. I laughed when I saw. I honestly, when I first met my first Colts video, I didn't even include Rivers because I thought when they were working him out, I thought it was like a PR move. I thought it was a joke. They never signed him, so I didn't even bring it up in the first video. I think this is ridiculously stupid. And
now you're making me want to watch these because I wonder who you're going to say. Like I would have put Desmond Ridder in there. I'd like to see Desmond Ridder in there before I would Phillip Rivers.
I didn't say anything about Desmond Ridder. All I mentioned was Riley Leonard and Brett Rippon, who's on the practice squad. That's the only two. They're screwed. Look, they're screwed. They're not Minnesota Vikings screwed, but they're barely above them. But they're screwed. So, yeah,
I feel sorry for them.
7-1. They were 7-1. They were in first in the AFC, and now they're 8-5, and they're not making the postseason. So there we go. That's the NFL segment.
All right, buddy.
Any final thoughts? Any final thoughts on the Colts?
I don't have any final thoughts on the Colts, but I'm watching a thing on the side over here. You may or may not know the MLB is doing their draft today. They've already done their draft.
I know. I saw they did the lottery, not the draft. The
right
draft lottery.
They do the ping pong ball thing or whatever they're however they do theirs. Mm-hmm. And I noticed that the Giants defied the odds and went from 15-4, and then the Diamondbacks got just pummeled. And even though they weren't a great team, they went from 4 all the way down to 15. Those two teams basically swapped spots. And I just want to throw it out there. This is the reason why I don't like this system. You should get to pick your people in the draft like the NFL does by how you finish in the year. The only other thing that I don't like about MLB, and I think they should change, is you should be able, and you've said this too, they should be able to trade draft picks like what football can. Yes. And if they would do those two things, I really think people would pay more attention to the Major League Baseball draft, because I guarantee you nobody watched this. This happened about 4 hours ago, and it's only been reposted 56 times. So nobody cares.
Well, I'll just say this. A few thoughts on what you said. They do the top 6 lottery. They should just do top 3. You don't need to do 6. That's how the Giants moved up, right? The Cardinals and Rangers also got screwed. Braves moved down 3 spots. When you go from 6 to 9, how much bonus pool money you lose? That's like $1 million, $1.5 million. So the Braves had the 6th best chance because they stunk this year. They moved down to 9. They're never in the lottery. This is one of the few times they had an opportunity. They moved down. So a lot of it's luck. One year the Cubs had the 12th best odds, and the Twins had 13th, and the Twins moved up in the top 5. Well, if the Cubs had lost one more game, or won one more game, one more game, they would have gotten it. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I
don't like that system.
The Rays and the Giants made out huge. So I have no problem with top 3 lottery because you want to prevent tanking. That's why they're doing this. They want to prevent tanking, but teams are going to tank anyway. And there's rules in place. You can't be in the lottery more than 3 years in a row. That's why like the Rockies and the Nationals can't pick higher than 9th or 10th. So there's rules in place. So I agree with you. And as far as trading, I just want to say this. I'll tell you exactly why they won't do trading for the draft. Is because the Dodgers, Yankees, and Mets will trade all their future first-round picks for great talent from like the Pirates and the Twins and teams like that, right?
Yeah.
And those teams know that they have to win by the farm system, by young talent. So they'll do it. They'll give you the best players, give us draft picks. So the Yankees, Dodgers, Mets will have no first-round picks for the next 7 years, and the Pirates, Nationals, Twins, teams like that will have all these picks. And they don't want it. They don't want, 3 or 4 teams that have no picks and 3 or 4 teams that have 2 or 3 picks every draft. That's why. But to prevent that, do with the NBA rules. You can only trade your first-round pick every other year. Solves.
Okay.
Boom.
All right.
There you go.
See, they should listen to us. They should be listening to the Lights Out Sports podcast right now.
And congratulations to the White Sox. They won. They need all the help they can get.
That's true, too. That's very true. All right. So tonight, instead of doing one top 10 list, we're going to do 2 top 5 lists. Those 2 top 5 lists are going to be the NFL Coach of the Year and the NFL MVP. So, Cheese, I'm going to give you a choice. Do you want to pick which one we do first, or do you want to go first in the 2 categories that we do?
I want to do Coach of the Year first. I want to build up the MVP. I want to do Coach of the Year first. So, yes. So I didn't defer. I made the choice. So,
you won the toss, and then
So I guess you're going to go first then.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We are going to do the Coach of the Year in the NFL, our top 5, and then after that, we're going to do our MVP of the year in the top 5 as well. So, since Cheese won the toss and he has given me the ability to go first in each one of these 2 categories, but he got to choose the category order, I'm going to start with number 5 and my NFL Coach of the Year, and I'm going to go with a team that we kind of sort of thought might be there at the end of the year, but they have made no doubt that they're going to be there at the end of the year, and that is the Seattle Seahawks and their coach, Mike Macdonald. I'll start there at number 5. Mike Macdonald, Seattle Seahawks.
More on him later. Okay. My number 5 may surprise you, may surprise some people, but I just don't know how they're 6 and 7. They have bottom 5 talent. They're not good on either line. The quarterback throws interceptions. They have no corners. Rasul Douglas is decent, but no one else can play. And Tyreek Hill's out for the year. Mike McDaniel has turned around this Miami Dolphin team. They went from being the joke of the NFL, he's guaranteed to be fired, to 6 and 7. They're still in the playoff hunt, unlikely. But I have number 5, Mike McDaniel, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yes.
I would have never thought that in the beginning. All right, again, so I'm going to give you a team that has really turned it around. They've won their last 5 games in a row, and I believe that it's a lot to do with their head coach, DeMeco Ryans of the Houston Texans. So I went Mike Macdonald as 5, DeMeco Ryans of the Houston Texans for me is number 4.
He's done a great job. He is a defensive coach, and the defense is amazing. I just couldn't quite put him in there. My number 4 is a team, like I said, the eye test. This team is just not very good. They're very good at running the ball. They have 2 great running backs, but their defense isn't great. Besides Teteru McMillan, the receivers aren't great. They have no tight ends. They're just not a very good team, but they're 7 and 6, and they're tied for first. So I gotta say, Dave Canales of the Carolina Panthers is my number 4.
He would have been 6 for me.
Okay.
Yeah, he was right there. I agree with you. Now I've got, the top 3 guys. You can't do these, okay, they're building good, they're coming, they're up-and-coming teams. No. For me, these top 3 coaches have to be teams that are in the playoff picture. They've been dominant all year long, and they have shown why they're such good teams. And their coaches have been a big part of that. So that's my criteria for these top 3. And I believe the 3rd best coach, when you look at all of those things, is Sean McVay for the Los Angeles Rams. So I put him. I know you don't like him. You've got to. I know you don't like him because we've been together long enough. I know you don't like him. But are you telling me, Cheese, are you really going to tell me that you thought the Rams would be in this position at the beginning of the year?
I picked them to win the division.
Even though you don't like him?
Yeah, because they have a good team.
Okay.
I don't like his play calling. I think he's Matt LaFleur, but a little better. I don't think he's that great.
Well, Matt LaFleur's not in my top 5 either, just so you know.
He's not in my top 25. But anyway. All right. I get what you're saying, though. But no, he did not. Sean McVay did not make my top 5. My number 3, most people put him higher. And I'll explain. They've won 10 in a row. They're 11-2. And most improved team in the NFL. No doubt about it. He'll probably win. Okay? But I have him third. Is Mike Vrabel. And the reason I have him third is they have played an easy schedule, and Drake May's playing so well. The teams ahead of him don't have as good a quarterback. So that's the only reason why I don't have him higher. But Mike Vrabel's, he's just a great coach. He did a great job in Tennessee to even get them to the AFC title game with Ryan Tannehill. Number 3, I have Mike Vrabel.
All right. So for me, Mike McDonald, D'Amico Ryan, Sean McVay. Number 2. So I thought you were talking about there for a second when you were setting it all up, and then I realized where you were going after about 3 sentences. My number 2 guy is a guy who I didn't like how it all came together. I didn't like it at all. He used to be the coach of the Saints, and then he went to the Broncos and all of that. I thought there was some collusion stuff in there, and I wasn't sure. But I tell you what, he's a good coach, and he's got his team playing really well with a barely above average quarterback, in my opinion, but a heck of a defense. That would be Sean Payton of the Denver Broncos, my number 2 ranked coach in the NFL.
Yeah, Broncos, Patriots both won 10 straight, both 11-2. Who had that? Actually, look, I don't have Sean Payton in my top 5, and maybe it's because I already knew he was great. And we both picked Denver to win the division, so I'm not surprised Denver's good. Their defense is incredible. So that's why I didn't put them in my top 5. My number 2, I'll just say this. I think their quarterback is bad. I don't think he's even average. He's not a good quarterback. He can make all the
Zach
throws.
Taylor up here, are you?
No.
Okay.
Zach Taylor's probably going to fire. Yeah, more on that way.
He probably is.
Probably should be. This team is in first place. I honestly thought they'd be 8 or 9 wins. The quarterback's not good. He'll make some great throws and then he'll be terrible. But you can tell just by play design, you can tell by game plans that Liam Cohen is a really good head coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's his first year. I did not expect the Jaguars to be 9-4. Like I said, I thought they were like a 7-8 win team maybe. He's done a tremendous job. And you can tell he's a motivator. You can tell they like playing for him. So yeah, Jacksonville Jaguars, Liam Cohen, number 2 on my list.
Yeah, I can't knock that one. I've been on his bandwagon for quite a while. I really liked what I've seen. And that's the reason why I put the guy at number 1 that I put at number 1. I've watched 4 or 5 of their games now. I see him gather up a bunch of players on the sidelines. I see him yell at people. I see him pulling people off to the side and talking to them. I see him pulling groups of players off to the side and talking to them. And it just really looks like that team has bought in to exactly what he's selling. And he is Mike Vrabel for the New England Patriots.
Is your number 1?
Not the fact that they've won 10 games in a row, even though that's a part of it. It's really the fact that he is the guy who I have seen coach more on the sidelines than any other coach. And honestly, I've seen Sean Payton do it a few times with Bo Nix too. I mean, they've had some shouting matches and stuff, but
Liam Cohen's done it as well. I've seen him do it as well. Yeah.
I've not watched very many Jaguar games. I'm not going to lie about that, but
most people have it.
Yeah. So I can't really say that, but I've seen Mike on the sidelines. I really like his style. And by the way, just to bring up another Bengals thing, I don't know if you saw it today. Did you see who they released today?
Jermaine Burton, I believe.
Yes.
That guy's a psychopath. Get him out of the locker room. What a terrible 3rd-round pick. But anyway, that's a story for another day.
Okay.
Somebody
might make a video about that on his YouTube channel.
Do you have any thoughts? I don't think it'll get enough clicks. Do you have any thoughts on Jermaine Burton? He's nuts.
I don't know him personally like what you do, but I will say that's a huge wasted pick. It's one of the very few picks they used on an offensive player in the draft. Most of their draft picks have gone towards the defensive side. They used one on an offensive guy, and this is what they get. I'll be interested to see if anybody gives him a shot, or if he's just going to go into football obscurity.
I'll just say this. Incredible college player at Alabama. So much talent. Borderline first-round talent. Total psychopath. Total psychopath, horrible teammate. He's not going to be anything because of this. It's a shame. Wasted talent.
Who's your number one coach?
Okay. Number 5, Mike McDaniel of the Dolphins. Number 4, okay, can you turn it down a little bit? I can barely hear myself talk. Number 4, so number 5, Mike McDaniel of the Dolphins. Number 4, Dave Canales of the Panthers. Number 3, Mike Vrabel of the Patriots. Probably should have put him higher, but anyway. Number 2, Liam Cohen of the Jaguars. And you mentioned my number 1. I just think he's done an amazing job. And it's more than just what the job he's done. It's what the team that he left, he was a defensive coordinator, what they have lost since he left. And that's Mike McDaniel, the Seahawks. They're 10-3. They're good on offense. They're good on defense. They're good on special teams. They do all the little things right. And I did not expect them. We both picked them. Remember, we picked who's going to win the division, who's going to be last. We both picked them last. We expected that. And their over-under was 7.5, I think. Vegas, they're 10-3. He's done a tremendous job, and the Ravens' defense has not been the same since he left. It's his second year with the Seahawks. That Baltimore Raven defense has completely dropped off. So Mike McDaniel with the Seattle Seahawks would get my vote. I do think Mike Vrabel is the overwhelming favorite to win.
All right, when you're done here, man, we got a lot of different stuff that runs on Tuesday, man. We got Sirhan that's doing the podcast right at the moment. He did his a little bit ago. His is done. You can go over and watch his on a tape delay. Sons of Star podcast, another one of our good friends, is doing a podcast right at the moment. So when we're done here, and we're almost done, you can go over and see one of those 2 podcasts as well. So we did our top 5 coaches. Now we're going to do our top 5 MVPs. And because I let Cheese pick which one he wanted to do first, but Cheese picked the coaches, I'm going to go first with our MVP, starting at number 5. So this is the NFL MVP of the season so far. My number 5 guy, we've talked about his team, we've talked about his coach. Now we're going to talk about him, Drake May. Great quarterback. He has really come into his own. I wasn't sure about him the first couple of years, but he's really kind of proved me wrong. And I think that it's the good combination between him, an easy schedule, and Mike Vrabel.
More than him in second.
Okay.
Yeah. He was so inconsistent in North Carolina. So he didn't go ahead at Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels, but the tools were there. My God, what a steal at pick 3. The Bears wish they had taken. Number 5 is your boy. I had to include him. Jackson Smith-Njigba. He has been so good for the Seattle Seahawks. He's one of the best receivers in the NFL. He is. And we'll talk about personally in a second. My team should have taken him, but he's just always open. And he's not just open short, intermediate, down the field. I don't know how he gets it. He just does. He's always open, and he always seems to make the play. He is tremendous. He was tremendous at Ohio State. And when the Packers picked 13th in the 2023 draft, everyone was saying, draft insiders that have always been right said the Packers are taking him. He is going to the Packers at 13 if he's there. And they took Lucas Van Ness, defensive end, Iowa, instead. One of the dumbest moves ever. JSN, man. And the Packers, oh my God. Like, can you imagine him with Christian Watson? Can you imagine him with Romeo Doubs and Matthew Golden, Jaden Reed, all of them? Oh my gosh. Like, so Jackson Smith-Njigba has had one of the best seasons receivers had. I need to pull up the stats. Like, in a while. Like, he's putting up stats that receivers just don't do.
I know he leads the league in yardage. I know that.
He has 1,428 yards with 4 games to go. It's almost 300 more than Puka Nakua's second place. He's got 89 receptions already. It's just 109 yards a game, 110. It's incredible.
And I've been on this bandwagon of him and Emeka Egbuka for weeks now on my Ohio State receiver brethren. It'll be interesting to see with Heartline gone if they still keep producing wide receiver U, but we'll get to that later on in the discussion in college football in the coming weeks. But so I did a different little criteria here for 3 and 4. And when I tried to look at here, so basically, I 5 was my wild card. I had to pick somebody. I put Drake May in that spot. I wanted to pick 2 people that I thought, even on bad teams, they're still doing a heck of a job. And where would that bad team be without this good athlete? And I did that on my picks 4 and 3, and then 2 and 1. I've got to just give it to the 2 best people in the league, I think. So Drake May was my number 5. So number 4 was the first guy I picked. You know, where would this team be without him? And I picked Dak Prescott as my number 4 MVP candidate for the season. I know that Dallas has not been fantastic, but without Dak, we watched that game against Detroit. He was willing them back so hard. He was throwing that ball and just slinging it everywhere. Man, I really have a big. I don't really have a soft spot for him, but I don't think he gets enough credit right at the moment, just because of everything else. You know, Jerry Jones and the star and everything that kind of overshadows him. So I'm going to put Dak Prescott at number 4.
More on him right now. My number 4 is also Dak Prescott. I had him as the MVP in the first 6 weeks, but his team looked like they weren't going anywhere. Let's put it this way. It's hard to even score 20 points against Green Bay. Bears just got 21. You can't score in Green Bay. Their defense is that good. They put up 40. 37 in regulation. And Dak was tremendous. Micah Parsons is in his face, and he's running left, running right, and still putting on the guy's hands. And CeeDee Lamb missed like 3 games. He's still putting up good numbers. So Dak Prescott has had a tremendous year. So I agree. I have him number 4. I don't think he'll even come in the top 5 because I don't think they're going to make the postseason. They still got a shot. They got to win out. But yeah, I agree. Number 4, Dak.
Wow. All right. I'm really surprised you were with me on this one. Let's see if you're with me on number 3.
NFL, real quick, he leads the NFL in QBR. Number 1.
All right. So I looked at it and said, okay, is there somebody who is the best at his position on a terrible team? And in my opinion, there's one.
Okay.
There is a guy who is the best tight end in the league, but he is on a terrible team. And that's Trey McBride for the Arizona Cardinals. I had to put him in there somewhere, man. Come on, help me out here.
I'm not going to help you out. You can't win MVP when your team has, 3 wins? Sorry.
I told you what my criteria was, okay? But where would the Cardinals even have a victory without Trey McBride? He has been the heart and soul of their offense all year long.
Oh, he kept him in the game against the Packers. There are 2 reasons they were even there's 2 reasons that Packer game finished the way it did. If Micah Parsons is double teamed, Cardinals win. But if Trey McBride doesn't play, they don't even come close to winning. Yeah. So he's tremendous. I'll give you that. But MVP, no, I did not have him in my top 5. It probably wouldn't be in my top 25, but I get it. Okay. He's outstanding. He's an outstanding player.
So who is your number 3 MVP of the NFL season as of right now?
I don't think you're going to put this person in your top 5. But number 3, you can call me a homer, but I have Jordan Love of the Green Bay Packers. I really want to put him higher. He doesn't have the stats as some other guys, but he's been tremendous the last few weeks. He has been so clutch. Against the Lions, there were plays where he's on this back foot, they're blitzing him, and he's hitting the guy down the field, ball in their hands. Against the Lions, that 4th down, if they don't get it, Lions have the ball around midfield, down 7, and he's running backwards, pressure in his face, hits Dontavian Wicks right on the hands. Jordan Love has been amazing. He's been amazing in the 4th quarter. He's been amazing in the clutch. So, Packers 9-3-1. I have Jordan Love, number 3.
All right. So I haven't asked this of Cheese. I'm just gonna put it out here. Next week, we're going to do top 10 quarterbacks. And next week, we are going to predict the first round of the college football playoffs. So we're going to look at each game, and we're going to predict who we think will win each of those first round games in the college football playoff next week, right here on the Lights Out Sports podcast.
Got a feeling about James Madison over at Oregon. Got a feeling.
Got a feeling, huh?
No,
All right.
not at all.
Okay, buddy. So, number 2. I talked about him before. I had his coach at number 2, and now I've got him at number 2. And it's Bo Nix. He's not the greatest quarterback. He's kind of like, he's kind of like
Okay.
he's kind of like the Jordan Love over here for you, right? Bo Nix is just good enough to be able to lead that team. I saw him do a lot of smart stuff over the last 2 or 3 games. Does he have all the stats?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. But he knows when to, he could have taken sacks, and he knows when to throw the ball away. He can feel the pressure seemingly, and he takes off running. He doesn't get a whole lot when he runs all the time, but he can feel that pressure seemingly, and he takes off running and gets, he's very mobile, gets something out of nothing, right? So I think he's really been coached up big by Sean Payton, and they've won 10 in a row. If I'm going to put Drake May on this list, I felt as though I had to put Bo Nix on this list, but I felt as though I had to put Bo Nix higher. So I put number 2, Bo Nix, on my NFL MVP.
Okay. I get it, I guess. He's 26 in quarterback rating, 17th in QBR.
Yeah, I said he doesn't have the stats, but neither does Jordan.
Well,
I mean, Jordan's stats aren't that bad, but...
Well, Jordan Love is 4th in quarterback rating. He is 2nd in QBR.
Okay. How many wins do the Packers have?
5th in touchdown passes, 9 wins. He's 5th in touchdown passes.
And then how many wins do the Denver Broncos have in a row?
10.
Okay.
Yeah, Jordan Love,
winners.
fifth in touchdown passes. He's only thrown 4 interceptions. Okay, 9 for Nix, but that's fine. I get it.
Okay.
But it's okay. Anyway, you mentioned my number 2. I have Drake May of the New England Patriots. 23 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. They have an easy schedule, but he's been tremendous. He still gives you every once in a while. Of course, Jordan Love does too. A couple throws like, what are you doing? But he's been a leader, and in the second year, it's amazing his improvement. And they're 11-2, like you said, 11 wins, won 10 in a row. So number 2, Drake May.
All right. So I would never have done this until Sunday. He wasn't even honestly on my board until Sunday. In fact, I admitted earlier in the show that I was making this team is in trouble notes for a video that I was going to do here on the podcast. But I couldn't put anybody else above the guy. He took over in that game, and he willed the Buffalo Bills to win. I've never seen a guy do it. I love what he does off the field.
What?
And I gave him...
You forgot somebody.
Nope.
Okay.
I gave him everything. I gave him points for what he does off the field. I watched him leave that game on Sunday, and he gave his hat to one person. He gave his towel to another kid. He gave the football that he had to another kid. It's hard not to root for Josh Allen. So I put Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills at number 1. Who'd I forget?
22 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. I mean, I just okay. Allen's just not been nearly. He's taken way more sacks than he did in previous years. Okay, that's fine.
He runs, and I tell you the reason why I did it is because they had to have that game Sunday. They had to have that game just as much as the Bengals had to have
Christian
that game.
Bedford won that game. Okay.
Come on now. He had one good play.
If Christian Bedford doesn't make that play, Josh Allen doesn't win that game. Just saying. But I get what you're saying.
So who did I forget?
He's the reigning MVP. I get it. He's very good. He's just not playing to me on the level he's played the last few years. Number 1, it was easy for me. I think he's going to win it. I think he's going to be borderline unanimous, and that's Matthew Stafford. 35 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, first place in the NFC, 10-3. I mean, I know he's got Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, but still, Stafford looks calm, cool in the pocket, leads the league in quarterback rating. He's just been tremendous, and I know you hate the Rams. You hate them. But, Matt Stafford, it was an easy number 1 for me. It was really the tough thing for me was Drake May, Jordan Love 2-3, and then Dak Prescott, Jackson Smith, and Jigba 4-5. That was.
I'm smiling over here because we have flipped roles this week. I'm usually the guy that gives all these stats and has all this stuff, and I went more with what I saw on and off the field. I went more with the fact that he's athletic, and I went more with your eye test. And this week you went more with my stats. You gave stats on every person you put in that MVP race.
Well, I looked him up. I did the list first, then I looked him up.
Okay.
I looked him up as we were doing this. I needed to justify my picks because ours are very different.
That's all right. Maybe that's why your internet or my internet or whose ever internet's been going wonky didn't do it because you did so much stuff on the side this time.
Well, it worked fine today. No more issues, hopefully. So
I'm really happy that it did.
I like that we both had Dak. I think he's been tremendous. Let me look up his stats. He's second league in touchdown passes to Stafford, 26 touchdowns. QBR, he's number 1. So, Dak Prescott, I'm just happy we both picked him because the media's not talking about him. So, yeah.
I had to say something.
No, it's cool. But yeah, you should have had Jordan Love.
Okay. When you just, for the first time all 3 hours, you just froze. Like for a good 10 or 12 seconds, you froze. Yeah. And I was like, no! I said I had to say something.
Crap.
Oh, man. All right, buddy. Hey, it's been a great show. 3 hours worth of show, just like it usually always is. But man, we packed a lot of stuff in this, and we could have done so much more. We took a bunch of stuff out. Both of us did. So, yeah. Guys, thank you all very much. Peace. I don't know how to say the rest of the peace. -IR 1QG. I don't know what all that means, or if it's some crazy kid lingo or something. I don't know what it is. So I'll just call you peace. But we appreciate your comments, man. First time, and thank you for coming on and doing that with us. So next week, like we said, we'll do the top 10 quarterbacks right now. And then next week, we are also going to do, in our college football segment, we're going to pick the winners of the first round of the college football playoff. Join us next Tuesday. What times, Cheese? Because I always mess up the times.
8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, and 6 if you live in Arizona. Wait, no.
Yes, that's right. 6 my
6
time.
if you live in Arizona. You live in Arizona, 6. But yeah, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. And I'll just say my number 6 MVP was J.J. McCarthy. So there you go.
I'm sure it was. After the one game where he actually did pretty well this past week.
Yeah, but...
only team, by the way, if you didn't know this, I saw this stat, only team to ever be shut out one week and then shut out a team the following week.
Did not see that.
Yes.
You love stats.
I do. I love them. I love them. I love them. All right, guys. We thank you all very much. We appreciate you being with us. Make sure you pay attention to Cheese over on his channel. Plug it one more time, sir.
At Football with Cheese, CHEEZ. And follow me on X at Football Cheese. And I do college football, NFL, and big emphasis on the NFL draft.
All right. And, of course, right here, you can do our X profile, which is All Gloves Off SM on X, or you can go over to YouTube and you can see us on sports media as well. I believe you can even look us up under Lights Out Sports Podcast too. So you can do a couple different ways. We got all kinds of stuff for you. You can
subscribe and make sure anyone watching, give us a thumbs up on this if you're on YouTube.
And by the way, we are now on Substack. Some of you guys know what that is. A lot of writers and stuff like that know what that is. So we are on Substack now as well. And if you put your email into the Substack spot, then our podcast will be automatically emailed to you every time we have one on. So you don't have to do anything at that point. But we certainly appreciate you all. Just watch. That's it. So simple. It's so simple. Simple. Yep. All right, guys. Thank you all very much.
And we'll have a lot to talk about baseball. There'll probably be more signings throughout winter meetings, so a lot of baseball to talk about next week as well.
I'm sure. I may have to do something from point A to point B, depending on what happens. So we will monitor all of that for you right here on the Lights Out Sports Podcast. But until then, as we say at the end of every single show, the only thing that's fair in life is a baseball. hit between the third and first base line. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us.